Oahu, but I'm not from Hawaii.
Where were you born and raised?
A lot of places. So I was born in Mexico City.
Okay.
I grew up in Southern California, did high school and college in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I moved to Hawaii right after graduating when I met my husband in Hawaii, who was in the military. So I feel like that's a touchy subject for people sometimes, is that like I moved to Hawaii and I became
Right, you could have fooled me. I thought you was a Hawaii girl.
Yeah, no. And I don't like to bank on that either, because I know it's like a very touchy thing. Like when people are like, oh, you're from Hawaii. Like, no, like the business is from Hawaii because the business like blossomed there, you know, but I'm not from Hawaii. I was born in Mexico City, but I'm very Americanized.
So Dipped By Dee, the famous, the viral.
Yeah.
So how did the business start? Where did the business, did you start it in Hawaii?
Are we going?
Oh yeah.
This guy just rolls right in. He just rolls right in. Smooth right in. Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. So everything started in high school. I did this for fun. This was just like a very random thing.
What high school?
I went to high school in Albuquerque, New Mexico. This is Cibola High School. This is 2014, my senior year, when the first time I dipped chocolate covered strawberries. That's so funny thinking back to that. It was just a random thing. I actually moved out of my house because I was being super rebellious, and I was at a friend's house. Shout out to Molly. We were like, we were at like a Safeway or something. We're like, let's just buy these strawberries. They had the chocolate right there. You know, it's February and they have everything like ready to grab you. And we took them home and we did them. The next day we took them to school and everybody loved them. And I loved that reaction. So I did it again and again, year after year, and it just got better and better. So it was good.
Were you only doing it on Valentine's or in February? Or did you start doing it throughout the year?
I feel like I need to catch my breath. You'll cut these parts out, right?
No. This is all going to be in there.
Oh, like I talk so fast. Okay. It basically turned into more. Yes, I was only doing them for Valentine's Day, but my friends, my family, they started to ask for more flavors, more detail. And like, that's one of the biggest things that I'll always credit how Dipped By Dee has grown so much, is like the feedback and like the requests, the ideas from our friends, our family, our customers, our employees now, like things that you see on social media. And it went from there. Eventually, I graduated high school. I started college at the University of New Mexico, and I studied business in the managerial side. I wish I would have done entrepreneurship or finance, but at that point, I didn't think I was going to dip strawberries. I didn't think like 10 years ahead I'd be here. And I wanted to do international management. But I somehow found a way to apply my business in business school and like do these like business plans. I competed in a couple of business plan competitions, and I had some setbacks. I won a couple and it was great. But I met my husband in the middle of college, and we actually, that's a crazy story. We jumped into marriage 3 months after meeting each other.
This sounds like an army story.
I don't think I've ever told you this.
No, that was quick.
So you're 19, 18, how old?
I was 19 years old when I got married.
Where'd you guys meet?
We met at Waimea Bay. It was a really cool story. Probably like the coolest love story that you could probably ever hear. But I went with a couple of friends, Molly, who was brought up earlier, and we went to high school together in Albuquerque. But there was a friend that I had in California that I asked to meet us in Hawaii because I wanted to have this like fun, like little vacation. I was like down and depressed because I couldn't study abroad in Spain. So the money that I saved up to live in Spain, I took a vacation to Hawaii. And I was like, hey, come meet us. Like, let's just go have fun. I went island hopping and...
Was this like summer vacation or something?
Yeah.
After freshman year?
After my sophomore year.
Okay.
So that was really exciting. It was like right after we finished school. We went out right away. It was like Labor Day weekend. Is that the right weekend?
Labor Day is September, right?
May? Okay, what's in May? What did we just
Memorial?
Memorial Day weekend. And yeah, we ended up having a grand time. We were like walking down. So if you're from Hawaii and you know Waimea Bay, sometimes you can park in a lot of different places. And I don't know what we were thinking. We parked in the neighborhood. We're like walking down to the bay.
You guys walked that far?
Yeah. I mean, this was I don't know what we were thinking. Like at that point.
These are a tourist spot parking, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out.
He's like, you never got told.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking now. Right. But at the time I had no idea. And like these guys pop out of nowhere when you're walking down and they're like, oh, like there's this shortcut right here. And there's this like rocky cliff and we're climbing down this cliff. I'm like, why did we trust these guys? And we finally made it. So we're like on that side of Waimea Bay by like the little cute little space and by the jumping rock. And we happened to post up right next to them. Anyway, long story short, we had a grand time. During the day, we mingled everything. And then we went partied that night. We were like staying in... This is so crazy to think about. We were staying in Waianae. That's where our Airbnb was. These boys are stationed in Pearl Harbor, but we were partying in K-Bay, and we didn't want to drink and drive, so they drove all the way to Waianae to pick us up. Me and my two friends, which I did leave this small little detail out, but the friend that I invited from California, he was like my little cherry on top to my vacation, and like it didn't end up going that well. And then I vibed with this guy that I just randomly met on the beach. And then we're partying all together that night at like a house party on the bay, fucking K-Bay. And yeah, one thing led to another. We like end up at Kailua Beach at like 3:00 in the morning, like the most crazy setting with the
romantic.
Full moon.
That sounds
like,
romantic.
You know, like beautiful weather, super nice and still. Like I'll keep it PG, but it was. I thought I would never see this guy in my life
that was
ever
quick,
again.
Yeah.
Never.
Quick. That was real quick.
What ethnicity is your husband?
He's white.
Oh, nice.
He's white. He's super white.
About how tall?
He's 5'11".
He's in shape
Nice.
though. He's kind of like.
Well, now he is. Now he's like super. Yeah, I mean,
he looks like a white boy that grew up in Hawaii though. When I met him. Like he's like one of those white boys that like he looked like he grew up in Hawaii.
What was your first impression of him?
I liked his tattoos.
Must have been really good because
and he was eyeing me, so I was like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. Like, what is going on? There's a connection, like from the moment we met to then like meeting on the beach and like just every little thing. If I really, really went into all the details, I'm like, it's a crazy story. And anyway, after all that, we left. We woke up on the beach actually. Kailua, it's like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning.
So he killed it, huh?
But with our other friends, we were all there, and it was just the most funny thing ever. They drive us all the way back to Waianae,
oh my
right?
Gosh.
And I thought I would never see this guy again in my life. I was like, wow, that was fun. And we said our goodbyes. Like we definitely had like social media numbers. And then from there, after we went to Oahu, I met my friend Molly, the same friend that we're traveling with. She has a timeshare we went to Maui and we're like hanging out in the hotel and he FaceTimes me and I'm like, Tattoos is calling. I couldn't even remember his name. I'm like, Tattoos is FaceTiming me right now. And like back then, this was almost 10 years ago, like when FaceTime, maybe not new, but I'm like, this guy's FaceTiming me. Like, what do I do? What are you doing? What do I do? I'm like, okay, I answer it. And we're just like there and just picks up from there. I finished my vacation in Hawaii, went back. It was summer break still. And this guy was just like constantly reaching out to me, texting me, calling me, FaceTiming me, Snapchatting me. Like we're just asking how my day was. And that was the thing about him is that he got to know me like virtually and really, really get to know me. He put in so much time and effort and know like my come up, my story, and why I ended up in Hawaii because I couldn't study abroad in Spain. And that little snippet is that I'm a first generation immigrant and I was dealing with like immigration complications. Some things didn't get approved in time. They did get approved, but not in time for me to go study abroad in Spain. So that's why I ended up in Hawaii. I was like really down about it. My friend got to go without me. And I was like, you know what? Let me just go on a month-long vacation to Hawaii. And I was like by myself, like island hopping, meeting friends, making friends along the way. Happened to meet this guy, right? And then somehow we fell in love. And he was like, I want to take care of you. Like, I want to marry you. And we were never boyfriend and girlfriend. We just
straight to marriage. Well, it sounded kind of fast because they met on the beach. Met on the beach. And 3 months later.
Let me go back to the timeline. Let me go back to the timeline.
Wait, you guys hooked up in May, right?
This is I can pinpoint it. May 27, 2016.
Okay.
Right? We only spent not even 24 hours together. We met on the beach like midday.
Right.
That whole day, that whole night.
The morning.
Right? I left. And then before school started, so 3 months later, I went back to visit him. I spent 1 week with him, and I married him the last day before I left. On paper.
That was really quick.
So I spent 8 physical days with this man before I said, yep, I'm going to spend the rest of my life with you.
Yeah, that's some arranged marriage shit right
and
there.
now
I like
we
it.
are going on 9 years this year.
Wow.
Almost 10 years.
That cannot,
Congratulations.
is that the original rock? There's no way.
No, we upgraded.
There's no way.
No.
Not on that Sally, right?
No way. This is so funny because I hated the ring whenever he first proposed to me. Like I loved it. He didn't propose to me. It was actually very untraditional. Our entire relationship is super untraditional. He proposed to me with no ring on the top of like one of the buildings on base, and like it was like super cute and thoughtful, but it was like not.
What was
tell me how I said yes.
What was the
like,
proposal setup? Laid out.
God. There's no proposal setup is the thing. Like, this is so funny, but it's okay. He woke me up one random morning. He said, hey, we're going for a walk. Like, brush my teeth, let's go. That's it. And then I didn't even change, nothing. And he climbs me up these stairs. We're on the rooftop. And he says like some cute little words. And then he gets down on one knee, but he doesn't even have a ring. And I still said yes.
That boy's
I married this guy. The ring came in the mail maybe like 2 months later, and I ended up hating this ring because
how long?
maybe not 2 months. Maybe not 2 months. Maybe a month. I want to say a month to play it safe, but somewhere around there, right? And so it was never this big moment, but down the line, like after a while, I ended up hating it because it happened to give me like a mental connection to this girl that helped him pick out the ring, and we had a little rocky relationship that didn't really matter. It's not worth talking about, but I was wearing like a silicone band for the longest time. Then I got over it. Then I got my other one. And then maybe like a year ago, the little diamond stud that I had on my original ring fell out. And I always knew I was going to upgrade. And then he was like, okay, it's time to upgrade. So that's the ring story.
Fancy.
Out of curiosity, is that bicep bigger? I think it's fucking huge.
Just a little bit.
That's a nice size ring.
Just a little
right
bit.
there.
It's a little scary too. I don't even want to talk about it. I can't believe we're having so much conversation about this, but it's a little scary to wear around. Like I love it and I'm proud of it, but people always make it a conversation. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't wear it. I don't know. And I lost it like a couple months ago, and somehow it came back to me.
How'd you lose it?
It always at work, it always cuts my glove open, and it was like cutting my circulation one day because it just was too tight squeeze in there because my gloves are tight. So I took it off. I put it in my pocket. I went home. I took my dogs for a walk. It fell out at the dog park at home.
What the fuck?
And then one day, a different day, like 4 or 5 days later, I thought it was a goner. Who's gonna turn in a ring? I don't know. And one of my like office managers sees me walking my dogs, and she's like, "Hi, Miss Danielle. Did you lose a ring?" A ring? I raced over there so fast. I put it on and I started crying. I was like, I don't know. This was so crazy. I was already looking at other rings, but I was like, you know what? It was meant to be like, it was just like more sentimental than anything because of the whole story that I obviously just shared. Like, this is now my happy dream ring. So never
Bro,
had that proposal.
That's the worst feeling, bro, when you
know?
lose something like that.
Like, hell yeah.
One time I thought I lost my big chain and the pendant.
Oof.
Where did you find it, and how long was it gone?
We was partying one night, and then fuck it. Obviously, I rented a hotel, partied, passed out. Next day, woke up hungover. You know when you're hanging, just fuck it. You grab everything and you leave, right?
Yeah.
Bro, like 1 week goes by, we would go out again. I'm like looking for my chain.
So it took you a week to realize that it
I'm
was
looking
gone.
for my chain. I'm like fucking tearing the house up. Like, where the fuck's my chain? What the fuck? And the pendant and everything. So I was just like, what the fuck did I do? And I was like, fuck. I put it in the safe at the hotel room. So I called the hotel, and I was like, hey, do you guys have like a lost and found? Or I left my chain in a safe. And they're like, oh, if it was, you would have to come down here and describe it. And then I was like, yeah, fuck. I went over there. She's like, oh, this chain, can you describe it? I was like, big fucking chain. Probably the biggest one you ever seen in your life with diamonds all on it and a pendant like this big. And then there's like, I'm surprised you left that in the safe and it took 1 week for you to remember.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, bro, my heart was like, oh. I was already thinking in my head, like, oh, fuck, it's gone, bro.
Oh my God.
Never get it
What
back.
a
That was
feeling.
the worst feeling.
What a feeling. No,
So
yeah.
how they reveal it to you that they had it?
I described
You
it,
described
and then
it,
the guy
yeah.
just pulled it out of, like, they had to unlock this safe and whatever. Because I guess when you leave it in there, they have a protocol where they call security, they call locksmith, they got to sign off. Then they put it into a safe at the Lost and thing, whatever, in the casino. And then when you go there, you describe it, and then they bring it out.
Hallelujah for procedures like that.
Yeah.
And that is definitely something that like I think about internally, having the integrity. Like when you find a wallet or you find a phone, like try to find for a wallet, you can find an ID and mail it back if you really took like a couple extra steps to find the rightful owner. Or a phone, like wait for it to ring. Somebody's gonna call. Yeah, I found your phone. Like it has happened to me many times. That was one part of the story. I'm so sorry.
So I was all happy. I was
they
like,
wanted
fuck.
you to pay.
No, I was all happy as I got my chain back. Went to the bar.
You lost it again.
Got all fucked up. Left.
Where is this going?
The next day I woke up. I was like, where the fuck's my wallet? Fucking left my wallet at the bar. I called them. I was like, hey, did I leave a Louis Vuitton wallet over there? Yeah, you have to come down and describe it. So I was like, fuck. Go back to the same place. Walk up to the security that had my chain. He's like, oh, you forgot something again? I said, yes, the wallet. He's like, this one? Yes, that's the one. Right
So
there.
how long ago was this?
Like a few years ago.
And have you lost big
No,
things since,
no, I'm
since
way
then?
more. I wear
Did something
way more.
click and you were like, maybe I should just
Way more careful now.
Do you get as fucked up as you used to though? Like compared to those nights.
Well, I've been sober 6 months, but I do. When I do get fucked, like that's why. Like,
Was it because of those nights?
that I went sober? No, I
Not necessarily, but like started to.
no, I still get fucked up like that. Still yet to this day. Like it just depends. Like if, like when Lexi flies here, I just know I'm gonna black out when we go out. Like I go out
I love
expecting to black out.
When does she come back again?
This month?
Oh my god!
So I might break my
crazy.
sobriety. Honestly, maybe I don't know. We see.
You know what's so funny is I've never met Lex Breezy before, but I have just admired her so much from afar.
Oh yeah, she kills
And
it.
I know we were like getting really into like touchy conversation back there earlier, but oh my God, like she's like a prime example of like the tough stuff that you have to deal with. Like I'm like watching her navigate, I'm like, okay, if she can do it, we can all do it, you know?
I don't know about that. She's kind of a beast.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do what she could do.
Some of the stuff she like the last one she took on, she took it head on, and I was like, bro, this girl is a savage.
Bro, there were like waves coming for her.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's just like, I don't know how.
But
she
she's
does it,
always
but
been a savage like that.
I
since
love it.
Way back in the day.
I love it. She's just stays so true to herself that it's just incredibly admirable. Like, it's crazy.
But I feel like that's the part people don't understand now. We're owning a business, because a lot of people just only put the good stuff on social media, right?
Oh yeah.
They don't understand everything behind the scenes,
Right.
the struggles behind the scenes, right?
Yep.
One thing Lexi always talks about is being the face of her business, kind of like how you are, and the added difficulty and scrutiny that brings.
Yeah. It definitely. I would say now it's my biggest challenge. Before, I think it was navigating the business itself and figuring out. I still have a hard time. A lot of things that I need to work on, but I think today my biggest challenge is navigating that social media platform and role, being just out there for just being vulnerable for people to tear you apart, tear you to pieces. And people have no idea the magnitude and the toll that it takes when you're just like, you know, and people talk about this all the time, but it's so easy for somebody who doesn't understand to go crazy in the comment section when you've never been put in that position before.
Especially those with 0 followers.
No
pictures of
picture ID.
No pictures, yeah.
User 366969624. Yeah.
Because that's the ones that go in, yeah.
Yeah. Of course. Don't even have like enough pride to say it with your chest and say who you are. But it is what it is. There's always going to be somebody.
I always felt like
so
you did a
much
good
easier
job
said than
though.
done.
I watched your TikTok. Like you do a really good job.
I feel like that's the vibe that a lot of people get from me from the outside. And anytime I do like touch upon like how hard it is to actually record a video, because you see the video that gets posted. Nobody sees the drafts and the take 1, take 2, take 29, and you're like, you got this. Say what you need to say. Take a deep breath. You got it. You know what I mean? Like they just see what gets posted. And it's just so challenging to overcome all of that and to do things live, not pre-recorded, or not just live like it's like a news segment. I've done a lot of news segments. Those are fun. I've gotten a lot more comfortable with those. But in person, face to face, meeting somebody, it's something that gives me so much anxiety. And I think that that's the part that is challenging for me, is being the face of the brand, putting yourself out there, because the more you put yourself out there in any which way, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the more opportunities that it can bring you, but the more heavy load on the dark side that it can also bring you. So I'm very torn right now with like, where do I want to take this? Because there's a lot of potential in the brand, the business, myself, my team more than anything. And just like I said earlier, like the opportunities, the resources that today's world has to just take full advantage of it. But it is a scary place, and you have to just be careful what you wish for. You want to go all in, and like, still trying to figure that part out. That's why looking up to people like Lexi is just something that is super, like, gives you a little bit of hope, I would say, for sure.
It's a lot of great stuff that you just kind of opened up on. I want to touch on, but first thing first, the team. How did you start building that out?
Oh, that's a good question. I love that question. I love talking about my team because, oh my gosh, I would have gave up a long time ago if it wasn't for all the people that have helped me and who have believed in me and who have been by my side. One of my biggest flexes is not just my team, but the team that have grown with me, and with side by side, we've grown together, and it's been really, really satisfying to see us grow over the years within the company and even outside of the company. Like, it's the thing that I always pushed for I still do. I still push it for everybody, just growth in any which way. So it's been very satisfying. And how did we come about? Like, people ask me that, like, how do you find such a good team? Because we do have such a good team. And usually my answer is like, I don't find them. Like, they find me. They see what we're about, they see what we're doing, and they want to be a part of it. And some people make it, some people don't. Like, Dipped By Dee behind the scenes is something that not a lot of people ever think that they'll do in their lifetime. Like, you don't, I don't know, like, you can think about like crazy things, maybe like being an astronaut, being a lawyer, being an artist, you know, but who really thinks like, oh, I'm gonna dip desserts one day, I'm gonna dip caramel apples and chocolate covered strawberries, like that's going to be a job or that's going to be a career. And so it's exciting for a lot of people. Like, you know, if you go to like Disneyland and you get to see all like the behind the scenes stuff, like that was something that was always really exciting for me, is going to Disney and seeing everybody making their stuff, which is another really controversial thing about how we make a lot of the Disney stuff, right? Maybe we should talk about that.
Yeah, let's get into that.
That's a good thing. So, I want to maybe take the opportunity to put this out there, because I'm very big on manifesting and very big on speaking things into existence. I've gotten very, very lucky in my life from some of the little things that I've shared. And with the Disney stuff, I love Disney and my team loves Disney. I feel like we always come back to that because we just have so much love for the brand and everything about it. And so to recreate a lot of Disney's designs, it's a very scary game that we're playing, and people bring it up all the time, especially out here since we came to Vegas, because there's already a lot of copyright conversation, right? And so to put this out there, we have never gotten any kind of
cease and desist,
nothing, but we don't have permission. We just do it. On the positive side of things, we've worked with Aulani a lot of times. I haven't always shared about it, but we are, I don't know how to describe it because it's hard to explain, but we have a partnership with, I don't know if it's Disney or Aulani, but I want to say Disney, where we're an official vendor for them. So their like different departments will order from us, and they've done some really big orders, some of the biggest orders that we've ever had. And they've always been such an amazing, like, dream client, where they email and they say, hey, this is what we want. This is the date, you send the invoice and they pay. And it's just like super seamless and easy, right? Mm-hmm. And so, like, what an opportunity to make Disney caramel apples and desserts for the Disney resort in Hawaii. Like, and I never talked about it as like this crazy big thing, because I've always been like super reserved and scared of like the kind of worms that you could open and really have like the big boys at Disney to come check us out, mm-hmm. right? But, oh God, this is me really speaking from my heart. I hope that if and when that day comes, that Disney comes knocking on our door and they're reaching out to us, I really, truly, genuinely hope that they don't want to tear us apart and they don't want to tear us down, that they want to work with us. My ultimate dream would be for Disney to buy out the company and have Dipped By Dee at all the Disneys in the world. And we, like, their apples are great. I'm humbly saying that ours are a little bit better just because that's what I've heard from a lot of our customers. That's the feedback that we frequently get. It's not something that I like to say personally, but that's the feedback that I hear. We are really, really attentive to detail, and we've even come up with like a lot of our own designs that I think that it would be just such a cool thing to have, like Dipped By Dee, a part of Disney.
Can you explain the process of, because I've been to your spot quite a few times, but the sorting process is crazy to me how much gets rejected.
Yes.
Strawberries, apples. I was like, what is all that? She's like, oh, that they didn't make it. And they look perfectly fine to me, but it's not her sorting process of what makes it is it's all quality.
Yeah, and
Like, have you been there?
That's the biggest thing. Well, luckily we brought some so you can try.
Yeah.
But yes, that's the biggest thing is quality and consistency, and that's the challenge as well when you are trying to scale, right? And it's not something that it just takes a lot of skill, patience, practice, and yeah, as far as the process goes, like basically we want to make sure it's perfect before it gets dipped. And I will say that, you know, of course, sometimes things slip through the cracks, and if you bring it to our attention, we're more than happy to replace it or make it right. But we hand inspect every single strawberry and every single apple that comes through. For the strawberries, that's a much bigger challenge than the apples, I would say. So the strawberries, they vary in size, shape, color, quality, quantity, price. It's never the same. Brands, they vary in so many different elements, and we will sort them by size more than anything. We'll pick out the rejects. There's different levels of a reject that is waste. If it's waste, it's absolute not edible. It's probably moldy. It's just really bad. It's mush. Or rejects that can be a really good rejects where it's a perfect strawberry, but it just has one little tiny detail that like it's a little edge. So you're just going to chop off the green and chop it up for cheesecakes or fresas con crema. Or rejects that are like maybe like smoothie or strawberry puree quality. Like those are the ones that will mainly go in the reject bags that people love to buy. They do them for all kinds of different stuff, like feed them to their kids, feed them to their pets, make smoothies, make purees, make jams, all kinds of different stuff with those rejects. But we try to use as much as we can and only waste what needs to like be wasted. So make the best use of everything. The apples is just like light bruises.
But that's why I say, like, when you go there, like every bite
we try.
Like the same. I don't know. To me, the first time I went there and I bit the apple, I was like, how the fuck is the texture so like perfect on every single slice? Like no matter if the first one or the last piece, it was the same crunch, same texture, and I was like, how the fuck? And then when I started to like ask her more about it, she said, oh, our process of picking stuff out is really intense, you know.
So when did you implement that process? So did you have that from like the very beginning?
Yes, I would say so, and it's important to grow, but yes, and it's just the standard that we uphold, and it's funny that I love it. I love that you notice that, and that's something that you bring up, and when people bring it up, like it's the biggest compliment, or even like our cleanliness of our store, because what's funny is we are very, very nitpicky at Dipped By Dee, and we have definitely very high standards because our customers expect the best. You're going to spend a pretty penny at Dipped By Dee, like you should be getting the best of the best. And sometimes our employees, like it's tough to navigate. Before, that was my biggest challenge, is being a good manager, being a good boss, being a good leader. And I've had my trials and tribulations, but overall we should all have the same goal, is to deliver quality and quantity and consistency to our customers, so that they just get the best of the best. And sometimes we come in like nitpicking, like what like that. Like I don't want to put you down for what you've achieved, but I want you to understand like as great as you're doing and the levels and the steps that you're taking to get up there, like this is the standard that we're looking for. This is the consistency that we're looking for, because God forbid, like your family comes in here and they get that one thing that like is not up to standard, or even somebody else. Like you want it to be consistent. And like, yeah, like we're very nitpicky, even about cleanliness. We sometimes have like foodies come into the kitchen and they're like, wow, like this is the cleanest, most organized store we've ever, and it's a common compliment, and it feels really good. And every time a foodie says it and the other employees are in the kitchen, I'm like, did you guys hear that? Because sometimes I'll go up to a station, I'm like, this is a little messy. Like, can we just like clean this up a little bit? Like, it just feels uncomfortable. I'm like, we have a window. So if you come into our store,
I was just gonna say that, like,
window.
with a window looking into the kitchen, you
that
have
pressure
to,
is on.
Yeah, you have to be clean.
Yeah.
How do you manage that? Like, especially like hiring not just your your core team that helps you build the business, but your regular employees. So that's something that a lot of people have a hard time with. High turnover. They can't meet the standards.
Yes, I love that question. That is such a good question. I would say that we are very transparent. Maybe sometimes a little too transparent, but I think that that's something that's super necessary for businesses. I mean, we're still pretty small, I would say, but we can be as transparent as we can be and be honest and say, hey, look, like this is what we're looking for. So in an interview, for the interview process, we always require an application, but for the interview process, which we do also always require with everybody, even when we hire friends and family, we need an interview, because our interview process is more to lay down expectations rather than get to know who you are, because we're not really caring too much about who you are or what you can do. A resume can say stuff, but what I need to know really about you is, are you reliable, and are you willing to push yourself outside your comfort zone, really? And do you have good customer service, I would say. Outside of that, I want you to know the expectations that we have for you as an employee. And I also lay out expectations of what you should expect from us as a company. And I don't want to go into too much of a tangent from this, because I actually don't do the interviews. Thankfully, I have a management team who does really well with their interviews, and you can kind of get the vibe out of them and see what they say. It is a challenge, because sometimes you'll hire people and you're like, this person lied on their resume. What if they
have all the tangibles, but they're like a sweaty person? So when they're working, they're just like sweaty. Because I was just thinking, like, I sweat a lot. I was just like, I might be chopping apples and just sweating all over, and you just be like, you sweat too much.
That's such a funny question. I mean, in that's unrealistic, but realistically, I would say that like hygiene is a big thing. Hygiene is a big thing for us, and cleanliness. I think it just goes hand in hand, and that might be a red flag. We've never
you can't
had
be sweating
never
on the
had
apples,
that
bro.
happen.
You can't be sweating on the
Never
apples and
had that happen,
strawberries.
but luckily,
I might come in with a headband. Be like, hey, you gotta start using this.
Luckily, we keep our AC on blast at Dipped By Dee. You might not always feel it in the front of our store, because the door comes up and open and close all the time, so it gets really hot in the front.
You're saying you're busy,
but in the back, it's like, well, it's just hot in Vegas. It's hot. In Hawaii, it's a little different, even though the AC could still be better there. Always, but in the kitchen where you don't get that much airflow from the outside, like it's nice and cold. We usually pack like light sweaters, so I think you might be okay on that part. If you're still sweating through that, I might be concerned.
Crazy, yo.
Where did this business? I mean, obviously you were in business school. Where did the business acumen come from, though? Like having all of these standards, putting together all these processes. Was that from the team, or did you have that prior to them?
No, yes. Another really good question that I do also love to talk about. So my business partners, when I moved to Hawaii, I moved all of my like business things. So let me see how far I should take this. First time, timeline. Let's go back to a timeline. First time I ever dipped chocolate covered strawberries was Valentine's Day, February 2014. 2016 is when I did it as a business, to where I like stopped making strawberries for fun and I started charging my friends and family.
And at this point, you're in Oahu?
No, I'm still in Albuquerque.
Okay.
And 2016, I was in the middle of college. It was the same year that I met my husband.
Okay.
And I was doing it from home, in my parents' home. I still had 2 years left of college. And this is another really funny story I guess I can throw in here. I was only waiting for me to finish college for me to move to Hawaii.
Okay.
And I needed to get my diploma. Of course, I had a graduation. My husband flew out to my graduation party. Long story short, I had Friday my graduation party, which turned out to be a luau because I was moving to Hawaii, right?
Bachelor's
really cute.
or?
Bachelor's in business.
Wait, was it done in 3 years or?
4.
4, okay.
I did 4 years. But I was also pursuing a associate's degree in hospitality and tourism.
Nice.
Didn't finish that one because I had one class that I needed one more semester for, but I was like, no, either take the class or move to Hawaii. finish the degree or move to Hawaii? I was like, yeah, I'm done with school. So I left. And that was Friday night. That was my going away party, graduation party / luau, the whole celebration. But my graduation ceremony wasn't actually until Saturday. Friday party, Saturday graduation ceremony. I partied so hard. I got so blacked out and so badly drunk. I had family flown in, everything. My husband came in, didn't make it to my ceremony, unfortunately. Sunday was Mother's Day. Sunday, I had a ton of Dipped By Dee orders that I had to fulfill. So come Saturday morning, I was like, okay, either go to my graduation
big girl pants
or
on.
I get some rest because I got to be up all night to fulfill this order, right? So I did the Dipped By Dee thing for Mother's Day. Sunday, Friday, that following Monday, I left and moved away. And then I made it to Hawaii.
I feel like you moved really quick with everything.
Oh, yes. Now I'm a lot more slow burner, but yeah, I jumped right into it, right? Jumped into marriage, jumped into move, jumped into the business.
How big of a sacrifice did that feel like at the time? Not walking or...
At the time, no, it was not a sacrifice at all, I would say. It was like my way out. My way out of like leaving home.
How big was the business? Or did we have a huge social media following already at that point?
No. Less than 1,000 for sure. So It was mainly friends and family in Albuquerque, and not to shade on Albuquerque in any way whatsoever, because I loved my time there, and I still have my family's still there. I have some really, really good friends still from there, and I just didn't think that it would offer me the opportunities that I wanted as an individual. And
you didn't think you could cook crack?
Say that again. No. I was like, what?
That's where it's from, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And so when I won one of the business plan competitions from my university, it was a $2,500 prize money that they give you to apply to your business. And they don't cut you a check. It's a whole process to get that funding. And so because I moved to Hawaii, I couldn't take that funding because they wanted to keep that funding within the state to create economic development in New Mexico. And so I was like, well, sorry, like I'm out, like keep your money, like thank God had half a brain. I was like, yeah, I have more opportunities here. Like I'm not going to stay here. And so luckily I left, and I was working at Honolulu Beer Works when I first moved to Hawaii. So I moved in May after graduation. In October of the same year, 2018, I quit my serving job at Beer Works. That was really fun. I loved that. And then I started doing this a little bit more seriously from my apartment in Makiki. I live right up the street from Ala Moana. So really cute little apartment. I had like everybody come to not to Dipped By Dee back then. This was my apartment. That was really scary at the time because I was putting my address out there for like strangers to come to. And luckily they met me outside, right? But I will share this, that one of the biggest things that I think that really helped me grow when I first started this in Hawaii was that when people would order from me, I would do a lot of giveaways. I love doing giveaways. I will say that. And anytime somebody would order from me, I would take a picture of them and tag them and put it on our story. And because Hawaii is so small and everybody knows everybody, it started like a excitement type of thing where like, oh my gosh, everybody's getting Dipped By Dee. Like then they start following, you do the giveaways. The rule of the giveaway is like, start following Dipped By Dee. Like you got to follow our Instagram. And it just started growing and growing and growing from there. I started to meet really cool people. I met Princess May, shout out to May, who was really cool. It was super admirable to get to know her. We had a really good friendship. She opened me up to a lot of doors and a lot more opportunities. And it was a really scary thing to navigate at the time because I was really like insecure and like just scared to go out into like this piece of the world, and like meeting her brother and just meeting all of these like influencers and business owners. Like I was hard in the very beginning because I felt like I didn't fit in. And then I like kind of like started growing at the same time with the business, and it kind of I feel like I earned my place at the table, and now a lot of us are still friends and we still like support each other. And it was one of those things that also really helped me grow, but a lot of different things. But I would definitely say tying it all back to like all these things can happen, but always tying it all back to my team, because I have always had people who have helped me, guided me, supported me, picked me up when I needed it. My business partners who I met through a friend who was helping me when I was still in my apartment. no longer friends now, had a bit of a falling out, but I will always credit her for introducing me to my now business partners. And my business partners, Ted and Karina Jung. Karina is Native Hawaiian, and they have an amazing family because they all take some sort of part in Dipped By Dee. Karina does main of our finances, our bookkeeping, all that kind of stuff. Ted helps with like the bigger picture type of stuff. Growing, escalating. Ted has pulled himself away a little bit more because he just has like a lot of things that he does. He's actually the producer of Mary Monarch. So he's a really cool guy.
Busy, yeah.
He's a really cool guy.
Yeah. Wait,
I'm like, how do you have time for me, right? But he doesn't all the time. Just, you know. But he's a really cool guy. But Karina is a lot more day-to-day, like heavily involved. And their daughter, Kiki, who was one of my very, very first official payroll employees and has also grown within the company and now is working for Hawaiian Airlines, and their son, Ethan. Like, there's just a big, like, family thing. And I think that that's my favorite thing about Dipped By Dee is that has always been very family-oriented, despite the fact that, like, I have not been much of a family type of person. I feel like my family appreciation and family is from Hawaii. Like everybody that I've met along the way when I'm not like a big family person outside of Hawaii, you know, which I'm a little sad to share that, but yeah, my family's in Hawaii and it's just what's gotten us here, whether it's my business partners and how we've connected and how much they've nurtured me and helped me along the ways, or the friends that I've met that are business owners or influencers, or, you know, that family in Hawaii, or just my team. That's definitely been the biggest thing. So it's been a hell of a journey.
A couple of details for me. So moving out to Hawaii, like after you had gotten won the business competition, had gotten the grant, what was the bigger opportunity that you had saw in Hawaii?
She was married.
Yeah. My husband was stationed. Really. As my husband was stationed in Hawaii, and for 2 years we were long distance. He was on a ship, and I just knew that, like, in Albuquerque, New Mexico, I was still living at home. I lived at home for my whole college experience. And, yeah, I wanted to get out of my house. And so I was like, and it's so funny because I had so much beef with my mom growing up that I always dreamt, and I always said, as soon as I get my college diploma, I am out skis. Like, I'm out skis. And so I never in a million years thought that I would fall in love with a man in Hawaii and move there, but here I am. And let me put a little end to the circle, right? There's a full circle moment right now. I mentioned how I actually bought a one-way ticket to Hawaii in 2016 because I was supposed to study abroad in Spain, but I had immigration setbacks. I couldn't figure that out. So that's why I was like, you know what? Like, I saved all this money so I can study abroad in Spain. Can't go. Like, let me go to Hawaii instead and have a fun summer. And I went to Hawaii for a month, and that was fun. I met my husband, right? We got married 3 months later. And this is a crazy thing because obviously I married an American, and he helped me get my citizenship. And we've always had a very non-traditional relationship where we jumped into marriage. We weren't living together for a while. We had different bank accounts. We've always had different separate like finances. We weren't even filing taxes together for a little while, and we didn't have any kids. So when we were going through the immigration process, we got super heavily delayed, and they almost denied me and there was also one very important appointment that he couldn't come to because he was overseas. And they were like, red flag, red flag, red flag.
Another, right?
And I almost didn't get my citizenship. In fact, it got delayed 2 years. And COVID, there's just a lot of things. And I was like, what the heck is happening? And so full circle moment, right? He moved from Hawaii to Washington State, and now he's living in Spain. So right now, not a lot of people know this, but I mainly reside in Vegas because we just opened the shop here, and I just wanted to spend a little bit more time like opening this shop here. But I also spend part-time in Hawaii and part-time in Spain when I can with my husband, because that was the dream. That was the original dream. So he made that come true, which is crazy.
So he's still in the military?
He's still in the military. Yeah. And he's living in Spain right now. So it's kind of crazy.
How difficult is that for you?
What part? The relationship?
Yeah. Combined with having to be so involved in the business and...
I think it's become a little bit more difficult now, but I think that it's always been easy. For the 9 years, almost 10 years that we've been together, it's, I think, what I needed. And I think it's what worked. He's always been incredibly supportive, and he would always, we've been long distance. So he would either go on like these long-term deployments, or he was living in Washington, or now he's living in Spain. Like we've never been fully long-term living together. And it allowed me the opportunity to be myself, be who I am. I love my own space. I love being alone. I'm a little bit nervous to finally live together because we've officially made the decision for him to get out of the military.
Congratulations. How long now?
It's going to be 11 years. He extended for 1 more year in Spain just because we have that opportunity. But if he stayed in, he would have to go to another ship for at least 5 years, and that's just not in our playing cards.
He's Navy, Marine?
Navy. Yeah. So it's a really big decision for us for sure, but I wouldn't change a thing. We have such a strong relationship. Like, it's so crazy. It's not something that I talk about often, but I want to say it with my chest and like brag that it's as perfect as they come. And it hasn't always been perfect, of course. I mean, hello, we jumped into marriage. We got to know each other while we were growing and figuring things out and navigating things. And yeah, there was a couple times where we almost walked away from each other, but we navigated through it. We figured it out. We continue to motivate each other, hold ourselves accountable, want more for each other. I feel like back in the day.
Go ahead.
Should I pause?
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Okay. Back in the day, it used to be, we weren't on the same like wavelength or mindset. So before, it used to be like I was either nagging, or like my expectations were too high, or I would never be satisfied, things like that. Those are the words that would come from him. And I'm like, if that's the mindset that you have, then it's never going to change. Like, you're right. But I want you to think that there's more for us. There's more for you. There's more for me. We should never be complacent. Like, let's go after more, because why not? Like, just because I opened a business doesn't mean we can't open another one. Just because we bought a house doesn't mean we can't buy another house. Or if I'm driving my dream car, like, those are all materialistic things, but in the mindset also, and he's now motivated me and encouraged me to work out because that's his thing. He's a big gym guy. He loves to work out. He loves to be on his nutrition plan, all of that. And I've always been like more like business oriented. And now that things are more mellow, I'm like, okay, like, let me jump into the fitness world and like try to get myself a little together, because I got to keep up with this guy. We have to keep up with each other in different ways, but
right. You get to push each other.
But it's good. Yeah, it's very healthy, and it's exciting to have the distance between us, because since we don't live together, the times that we do spend together is always a vacation. So we are just having a great time, like going out to eat, doing things. We're planning a trip to Italy, which again, big circle type of thing that was happening is I couldn't leave the country for almost all my life because of my immigration challenges. And to marry this guy, and the way that everything just unfolded, and to now be like partially living in Spain, and to be able to explore and see the world because I met this guy who knew he loved me, or knew he wanted to spend the rest of his life with me before even, I was like, what the heck? You want to get married? Like, you never even asked me to be your girlfriend. Like, it's just kind of crazy. So now to be here and to know, the possibilities are endless is what I feel like. So it's scary.
Do you have any concerns that like once you guys start living together every single day that...
Oh yeah. And I talk about this all the time, which is just funny because yeah, of course I tell him, I'm like, I think we should have separate rooms. Like, I think it would just be better because we've been like enjoying our own space so much. I think I'm like, it would be cuter. Like, even with like our finances, like some people are like, you guys have separate finances? I'm like, yeah, but like we love it. Like, I hear horror stories. I'm like, I love having, like, we have some things that are joint, and we like support each other financially, and we never have rarely financial issues within our marriage. But same thing, like, okay, we're gonna move in together. Like, I think like gifts, think about gifts, like if you have a joint bank account and you see everything, you don't even have no personal account, and like, if you want to surprise your other half, but how do you do it? Like, you got to be sneaky, you got to pull out cash.
I've never
like,
understood that.
It's weird, right? And so I don't know why for me, it's a correlation of a good example, but I'm like, okay, well, like if we live together, like we have separate rooms, like I think it would be so cute. Like, you know, come over to my room. Like, let's have a fun night, you know, but like we can sleep together, but we still have like our own separate like spaces. And like, you want to keep things spicy and like interesting. We're almost 10 years deep. Like, and luckily that spark comes from that separation, which is great. So yeah, I do, of course, naturally have those concerns, but I think that luckily, man, 10 years is a long time. So we won't be together until the 11-year mark. Really, he has 2 more years left. So I think at 11 years, we'll just be so much more mature and like stable in every way, and our lives and like our goals, and like we've already done the individual growing that like I think when we come together, it'll just be like a crazy firework, hopefully.
I like that.
And I've always been afraid to have kids, but now I'm like a little bit more open to it. So I think that if that comes into play, then we'll just have more to occupy ourselves.
So say you guys do have kids. Looks like it's going to be in the plans.
Yeah.
What's the idea? You think he's going to be the stay-at-home dad while you're still killing Dipped By Dee?
We've played out a lot of different scenarios. That, yes, has always been the original scenario because I've always been afraid of having kids, and I've always been like just never envisioning myself as a mom, but he has always seen himself as a dad. So I'm like, okay, great. Well, then I'll just work and you can be a stay-home dad. And he's like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, you know, all jokes aside, that is something that could happen, but it is also something that we can go hand in hand about. Like we've talked about him working at Dipped By Dee, being like a part of the team and the bigger picture, or him like completely having his own separate individual life and doing his fitness journey, maybe opening a gym, or even taking things up a notch, this is always on the line, but always something that I need to personally overcome. But like be more out there in the world and be social and talk about your life, because you know we really were just having this conversation a few minutes ago, but I know I have a good story. I know I have great experiences or even bad experiences that people could learn from. So to really put yourself out there and do social media,
right? Because you guys could be an incredibly massive power couple.
And I know that, but it's scary. I'm like, okay, so do we want to just be like in the dark and live our lives like privately, or do we want to go like
all
200%? And yeah, like I feel like maybe that's my thing, is that I feel like I haven't been able to put myself to that level. Like I've inched there. I've inched there a lot of times, but I haven't put myself to my full potential because I've been pretty alone for our relationship. But I think that maybe if he's a lot mentally stronger than me, so if he moves in and we do it together, it might be easier to have someone by my side to navigate like the social media world and like the scary things that come with it. Like I might do better with him by my side than if I were to do it now. It's a challenge, but yeah, I think that there's a lot of big things in my life, my relationship, or just the lessons that have come to share with the world and to talk about, even though that's very hard, very vulnerable and scary thing to share. Yeah.
But it could also be the thing that catapults you guys into that massive Disney buyout.
I know. It's scary. I got to put my big girl panties on one day and just go for it.
G-string on.
Just go for it.
So what was the first video that went viral?
The first video that went viral for us ever, I want to say that this was a video that my social media manager at the time, shout out to Allie, and it's always the ones that you just throw together. You just have you have never ending content, but you have to do something with it. You either spend a lot of time with it or no time, and like any which way. And yeah, this is a funny random video, but it's just a tub that we have, like our little 4-quart or 2-quart Cambro containers, and the caramel from the apples, and you just peel it. And you're just peeling it from each tub because it's like a satisfying thing. It's like a random satisfying thing where if it dries to the right consistency, you can take like a glove and just your gloved hand and just grab it and like separate it and have a perfectly clean container because it's good. And so I don't even know, like what, 6-7 million views, but it was so random. It was a trending audio is what it was. I think it was. Yeah.
What is your marketing strategy?
I don't have a marketing strategy. I just go with what goes. I mean, that's so funny that you would ask that, but I mean, I will say one of the things that I love to do that I want to get so much more into, but it's my personal noggin that's like holding me back and my anxiety, but I love to give out free product in so many different ways. That has always been like the really good marketing strategy, right? I talked about it earlier where we do giveaways or whatever it is. Like there's so many ways for you to give things out for free. I have so many ideas, but I get so scared and so nervous because it would be so much more successful if I did put my face out there, especially out here in Vegas. So many different forms and avenues. Scavenger hunts, take a gift certificate and show where you hide it and like have someone go find it. People love those. Showing up to a random local business and just like saying, hey, like I brought Dipped By Dee for you, you know? And like typically my strategy is I like to support the business. So I'll buy something from them and then check out and tip and do everything. I want to treat another business how I would like to be treated. So I show up, order something from them, tip accordingly, and then say, oh, by the way, like I brought Dipped By Dee for you, like just for you and your team. And like, that's why I started the business. Those reactions of like, oh my gosh, like for me, what is this? Like whether they know about Dipped By Dee or sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, are you Dipped By Dee? Like how cool, thank you. Like, or like it's that much more special, or sometimes they don't know. They've never heard of Dipped By Dee. So maybe even those are better because you're putting yourself out there and you're giving people an opportunity to try your product before they even come to your store or before they even know who you are, right? Or who your product is. And so it's just one of those opportunities. And I would love to go back out there. Like you can take a box of strawberries and go to the strip and just be like, hey, like, you know, have you ever seen like those fun, cool videos where people are like asking silly questions, and if you know you get the answer right, like here's
like
a chocolate covered strawberry.
The man in the street stuff, right?
Yeah, like fun things like that. I'm like, man, I should really go out there today and do something like that. I'm like, oh my god, that's so intimidating. Like just to have a camera in front of you and to start talking to people, because that's definitely one thing that I always think about is all the things that we don't put on social media, the things that you do when no one's looking, right? And like all the donations or all of the little things that we've done in the community that you don't share. Like a lot of business, every business has it. Like, you know, people, organizations, sports teams, schools, different things will reach out to a business and say, hey, like, can you sponsor us? We're doing a fundraiser, whatever it may be. And like all those little moments that we've had like that, or I don't know, it's a huge variety of things, but like we don't share stuff like that. You just do it because you do it, because you want to do it, right?
Right.
But how fun would it be to record, right? And like a lot of people do it. You like what I'm saying. My idea is like you take a bag of Dipped By Dee and you go into a business and you support them, and then you give them Dipped By Dee and you record their reactions and like you maybe even take a little picture of it or something and have just like a moment and to make that the trend, make that the thing where like that's what you do, or that's what I do. As the business, I'm Dipped By Dee, and I go around local businesses in Vegas and I just go and share Dipped By Dee, support you, share Dipped By Dee, take a little video. But it's the part of like walking in and it's already awkward, right? Because at the same time, it feels like you should do it just because you do it. Why are you doing it? Because but that's the fun part is you get people engaged, and then you can come into the comments and be like, hey, like, where should I go next? Like, tell me, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
does any of that make sense?
It
like,
makes perfect sense, but the thing that doesn't make sense to me is like,
why I don't do it?
no, like you talk about how you have so much nerves around this and like, oh, I can't do this. But from the moment I met you, you introduce yourself. You're so bubbly. The energy is so high. For sure.
Oh my God, people say that all the time, but it's like, I don't know how. Like, you fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it, and like maybe I just need to put myself in those like under pressure moments more, because I do well under pressure, but sometimes it's that like getting out there and.
Are you talking about her being nervous?
Well, we were talking about doing like some man on the street type of stuff, for like going out, passing out the strawberries.
Is that what it's called? Is that a thing?
Well, kind of like the interview part that you were talking about a little bit, but yeah, man on the street stuff, like you're creating buzz in the streets, you're creating content around it.
Yeah, don't you do you like watching those videos, or is it just me? Like,
no, they're insanely
different
popular.
kind of stuff, yeah. Like it's
Wouldn't
cool.
mind going with you.
Are you down?
Yeah, I'm down to go.
Maybe
Yeah, it
that's
sounds
what I
fun.
need.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I need is somebody who's like just got that like take the lead, you know? Because like I'm so nervous. And
Or just people to like
Mom was
bounce
always
off
like,
of.
"I'll
and
come
like-
with you." I'm like, "Yeah, but like
Bro,
I have to do the talking."
This guy just did a live podcast and commentated on the UFC fights this past weekend.
Oh yeah, it's Circa. Yeah, that was
Crazy.
Really?
Yeah, this guy is like that's why I say he's a really good talker.
Yeah, see, like, and I see that. I see that. Like, you're pulling it out of me really good, you know. So I just like,
Yeah.
oh my
And
god,
to go
be
live and talk
Yeah.
live and commentate at the same time.
Yeah, no, literally.
Yeah, but I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing it. Like,
Yeah.
kind of fake it till you make it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. You're
yeah.
a pretty good talker.
But that's the same thing. as,
It
like,
comes. You start to learn like the things.
at
I
what
guess.
point have you actually made it? You know what I mean? Like, at what point are you actually? I mean, like you
yeah,
said,
that is a good
I was
question.
actually doing it. Like you are doing it every day.
no, but you gotta explain. So the show he got on, he used to go and buy tickets to watch it as a fan,
Yeah, that's
and now he's on the show.
you have to have those
commentating.
like pinch me moments.
No,
though,
yeah,
right?
that was pretty
like,
crazy.
Come on,
Like, I've been watching the show for
Like, I know we can always
sent
be
me a
like, yeah, that's cool, but-
he sent me a picture like the year before, like taking a picture as a fan with the guys, and then
Yeah.
now he's sitting on the table with them.
Yeah, like what a moment. You had to have been like,
blown.
In the
I'm still on
clouds.
cloud 9
Yeah.
about it. Yeah, it's something that won't go away.
and it just opens the doors for so many more opportunities. Like if you think that's the awesome thing about like reaching for that next thing is like, yeah, that's something that you always dreamt about, and like maybe sometimes back in the day couldn't even envision that you'd be there, and now
Right.
you're there and you're like, I made it here.
Right.
Like what's next?
Wait, go on.
where else
This.
can we
Keep
go?
going. Keep going. Please keep going.
We're just like, what's next? Like we're here, you know, we all have something, and like, okay, we're where we at today, but thinking in the most like optimistic way, like what's next and what does the future hold? And that's always something that's really scary for me too, because of all the things that I've accomplished and experienced over the years. Now I'm like, okay, well, hold your horses and tread lightly, because I don't know, just be careful what you wish for, because
Or do you put your foot on the gas?
Yeah,
It seems like that's what you do. You put your foot on the gas. But how do you know like which direction to steer into?
I definitely follow my heart 100%. And not that it sounds cliche in any way, because yeah, like I love my husband, and if I really followed like that part of my heart, I would have been gone a long time ago, right? And I would have been living a completely different lifestyle if I went on to be like a military spouse. But I followed my heart in like who I wanted to be and what I wanted to accomplish as an individual. And I think that that's the same thing that I continue to think about with all of my decisions in life. You know, what do I want to do? Where do I want to be? Who do I want to be? And I try to think about like, how can I incorporate like my personal individual life goals and my business and have them collide and have my business guide me to what I want to accomplish with my life, which this is super far-fetched, right? I mean, we kind of also talked about like the whole Disney thing and having that, like that would be a crazy dream come true. Another thing is like, you know, I've always wanted to live in Japan. It's always a huge thing. I always wanted to live in
love
Spain.
Japan.
Living in Spain, I did that, right? That's cool. It's great. What's next? I'm like, well, you know what? I would love to live in Japan. Like, let's open a Dipped By Dee in Japan. I don't know.
They
like,
love that shit over there too.
Like,
There's a Disneyland in Japan.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, Japan is
let's
like,
just
and,
see.
and I'm one of those believers, right? In Japan, if you hit it in Japan,
Yeah, you can go anywhere.
you're
So it's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do talk about like our next location. I don't know where it's gonna be. I don't know when.
Nashville is cracking
Yeah,
too.
I don't know. Nashville, I've never been to Nashville.
How about
Yeah.
Texas?
We're talking about Arizona. But I've
Okay.
never been there. I it's not what I truly want to do, but I'm not cutting out opportunities, because there's opportunities that we have there, why it makes sense. But I mean, I would love to open another shop in Vegas, but like a bigger and better spot than what we have now. Our spot right now is really, really small. There's no seating. There's no parking. So it's a little tough. I would love to open something like
Oh, I just park right there on that curb.
bigger that's an experience.
Oh,
I
okay,
just
that's what I was
pull right
wondering.
in.
Like a factory, like an experience.
Yeah,
more of.
an experience where you like at least some sort of seating. Another experience that was really fun to do was we used to do these dip and sips in IAEA. So it was like an after hours workshop. So if you booked a ticket, you could come into our kitchen and we would show you how to do what we would do. And we'd have like a theme or like an apple or design or something in particular. And then you get to take the products home. And it was fun. People loved it. You could bring your like booze, bring your girls. We had a whole
Is that the
family
one like how they
come.
do with the painting? Like you go and you paint.
Exactly. But Dipped By Dee. So that was really cool.
One time I got for some reason all
That'd
my
be
stories
fun.
always like me fucked up, right? So I went to one of those painting things, and then you dip your brush in the water, and I was all fucked up already.
You dipped it in your alcohol.
No, I fucking drank the paint water, and I didn't know my fucking face was all paint on top.
Oh my god.
And then my Alana was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "What?" It's like you fucking drank all the paint water.
It looks like you made out with the portrait. That's hilarious.
Oh my god, how do you do that? Where
I
was
don't
that at?
fuck-
Was that here?
Bro, you know what? When you're at that, no, it was in Hawaii. You know when you're at that point where like you don't really taste nothing.
No.
I was
I've
at that
never
point where
been that drunk.
I didn't really taste anything already. It was just like I just was like rah rah
We
rah.
love
And
that.
then she was like, "You're drinking the fucking paint water. What are you doing?"
Looks like you're autistic.
Oh, my
or
painting was
something.
all fucked up too. Never looked nothing like what it was supposed to look like.
What's your dish that has failed? Like, what have you ever had one that you thought was gonna be a killer and it just flopped?
Yeah, all the time. All the time. Let me see what's coming to mind. Let me think of something recent. There's all kinds of different types of failures though. Like ones that like actually make it to the customer and it fails, or some that don't even make it to the customer. We're like, yeah, that's not gonna work
Whatever
out.
you got.
Gosh.
Has there ever been one where you had like a great idea, like, oh, this is gonna kill, and then you guys just couldn't make it, or it came out horrible tasting?
I'm drawing such a blank right now and such a brain fart.
Or you put it out and you're like, we shouldn't have put that out.
Oh, I mean, I feel like sometimes it's like a trial and error with a lot of our stuff. Like I have a tendency to like when I'm looking for an old picture, I'll scroll through my phone. I'm like, oh my God, I used to sell this. Like I'm like looking down memory lane. I'm like, how did that make the shelves? We literally just had that moment in the car 20 minutes ago. Like we're laughing. I'm like, wow, this was 4 years ago. Like our stuff now is so much better. So maybe that's like the best thing that I could think of. But yeah, it makes the shelf still. And you're like, okay, we always, that's the thing, is that we always want to do better. Even though we have like maybe the same products that we had like 4 years ago, like there's improvement. There's a lot more consistency. There's quality. There's cleanliness. There's just so much more involved to it. But I mean, I'm trying to think of like still that question because that's a good question. But.
Would it be more so like the taste, texture, or the visual of it?
No, the visual, like the packaging and the presentation of it for sure, because that's what sells our products. Like people are, you're paying for the brand. You're paying for the brand. All of our branded packaging, all of our everything that we have that's like clean cut. Like a lot of our Yelp reviews are like, wow, like even the sliced apple is like beautifully presented. Like, yeah, like we want it to look really nice. Like people eat with their eyes first, right? But I would probably say that the biggest thing that will make a product not go on the shelves is probably like a pricing thing. Like we want to stay within a certain margin or a certain price point, and it's just like, okay, like that's just maybe too expensive. Like our stuff's already expensive, and we try to put something like this, like it might not be successful. Like it's just not worth it, especially if we invest much more into it and it doesn't work out, then something like that. But I think the best part is always being open to suggestions and always being open to feedback. And that's definitely one thing that has been difficult for me to navigate as a business owner, because there's definitely something about somebody providing feedback to you, whether it's in person, in private, in a DM, on an email, or a text message, anything that's like private, right? As opposed to when somebody wants to write a review, a Yelp review, a Google review, or even like bash you on social media. Like those three are just so much more extreme. And to me, it's almost like screaming for attention, as opposed to when you genuinely want a business or a business owner to learn, to grow, to do better.
Constructive criticism.
Exactly. It's almost hard to hear when you're yelling and when you're like, if this was an issue, one, it is never an intention to do something wrong or to give you something bad. Like if you can allow me the opportunity to fix it, to make it right, to do better, to learn, I appreciate that a million times more. And I want to do better, and I want to listen, and I want to, I don't know, just excel, as opposed to like I try not to read Yelp reviews, and sometimes they're good. In fact, a lot of the times they're good, but sometimes I'll like, okay, if you're gonna do this for Yelp, like just don't hang on to the good or the bad ones. Like try not to look at them. But anytime somebody reaches out privately, oh my God, I take that so seriously. And sometimes there are people who reach out and like don't even want anything in return. They're just like, they just so genuine about like giving you a heads up, like, hey, this was my experience, or this is what happened. Like, I don't expect anything in return. Like, I just thought that, you should know, give you a heads up, like this is going on, especially with like me being in Vegas more long term, right? And our customers who love us and care about us so much in Hawaii, and then they know I'm not there, and they're like, hey, like, I just want you to know, like, this happened. Or even when they're saying something good, like, and they say like, hey, like, I know you're in Vegas, like, I just need you to know that your team's like killing it, like they're just doing so good. Feedback, good or bad, when you approach it in the right way, it can do so much more and really help a person, a business, an individual in so many more ways than when you like try to tear someone down or tear someone apart by like just attacking them. It just depends on like
I can't understand when people text in all caps.
Yelling, right?
That's yelling. To me, that's yelling.
That's yelling.
If you're texting in all caps, I can't stand that.
Yeah, like
some people text me in all caps, and I can you rewrite that in lowercase?
What? You tell them to rewrite
yeah, in lowercase.
Like pipe down.
Yeah, like the all caps is just like, to me, it's like yelling, trying to like.
What if they just forgot their cap locks on?
That's so funny.
In that paragraph, you could have like, shit, I have it in all caps.
That's gotta be somebody that like probably needs like their reading glasses to read, and they're probably putting it in all caps for themselves so they could just like see the big letters.
Yeah, I cannot.
Maybe?
It's like a little. I don't know if that's like a pet peeve thing or what, but I can't do it.
No, I feel that. That's so
I tell them to rewrite it.
That's funny. What do you think your specialty is? Like, what's the best, in your opinion?
Best thing about Dipped By Dee?
Yeah.
The best thing about Dipped By Dee is definitely the branding. The branding and like the way that we've been able to take like a traditional, I guess, dessert, like a caramel apple or a chocolate covered strawberry, to a whole nother level. Have the quality, have the consistency, and package it nicely, neatly with a brand. Like, I know that's a long answer, but I think it all comes together as that's a part of the brand. And I think that the challenge is people trying to duplicate the brand and replicate the brand, whether it's like excessive or things here and there. But I think we were just talking about this earlier too. It's just like to always stay ahead of the game and to be that brand that people are following, not, you got to stay on ahead of the game and just
How do
be
you
that
do
part.
that? Like, especially with your product, like it always has to be adapting. Does it always have to be changing?
Yes, 100%. You always have to stay creative. Creatives, we got to stay on our A game, and it's a challenge for sure. But yeah, you got to. We do weekly specials. That's always fun and exciting. So we always have something new or something different in rotation. Definitely some repeated weekly specials or some brand new ones that people love. They either come back as a weekly special, or if they're that good, they'll make it on the everyday menu. But something to always have something exciting all year long, and then seasonal. So seasonal collections. Our biggest holidays are Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Halloween, and the holidays, Christmas. So we bring out collections for every major holiday or seasonal flavors, things like that. But yeah, you always got to have different stuff. You always got to have something exciting for people.
How do you feel when you see someone trying to imitate what you do?
That's always been a challenge for sure. And I feel so much better than how I used to navigate it back in the day. I feel like years ago, I wanted to be the only person doing this. Like, I felt like when people copied me, I'm like, wow, like there's so many things you can do in this world. Like, why would you copy me? Like, let me live my dream, right? And then eventually I grew out of that. I changed my mindset, and it started to become like something that was more touching, to be inspiring, to be somebody that people look up to. And you really have to think about it that way. Like, it's just that they see you doing good, or they admire you, or they're watching you move, and they're like, wow, like, and I think about like people that I admire, maybe people that I copy, right? Or try to be. And I'm like, okay, well, when it comes to copying, I'm like, how can we make it our own? Or how can we make it better? Or how can we add our own twist to it? That's just my thing. But as far as the mindset goes, it just became easier. Every now and then, sometimes things will hit a little deeper, I will say. But for the most part, thankfully, and I will say this to anybody who might be navigating something similar, it's just not worth your time. It's not worth your time or your energy to see it in a negative way. You should be touched by it and move on and stay in your lane, focus on what you're doing. Like, you probably have a lot of different things on your plate that deserve your energy, your focus, and your attention than to like lose sleep. Because I used to lose sleep. Than to lose sleep over somebody who's copying you. So you just kind of brush it off and move on. Yeah, just keep going.
How do you handle it? Because I imagine you've been dealing with it for
heck yeah.
forever.
I don't give a fuck.
And then just recently we were talking about examples of it with like new marketing things you guys are doing. And
Oh yeah, like it's kind of flattering sometimes because like you set the standard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody's standard gets raised. Then we're like, okay, we're gonna do this now. And let me see if you can
keep
do
them
this.
on their toes. Yep.
And then when they start doing that, then okay, we're gonna do this now. You know. So to me, it's like it's good because it elevates the game, right?
Yep.
Because if not, you're gonna be stuck at this.
Yeah, you never want to stay complacent.
This one level that will never get elevated. And it makes you try new things and try different things and think out of the box.
And that's definitely what.
And like for me, I like when you go out of the box. Like what I try to get is like what I'm trying to push now is like being out of the box and like people see that.
Yeah. That
you're like elevating and you're doing something different.
Starting
like
trends.
You're not doing the same thing as everybody's. You're doing something that's different. Like the fitness thing, right? Like I was telling Justin, everybody's like, "Oh, do activewear," and I was like, "I would never do activewear unless I was in shape myself." So I went on a whole like right now I'm on a whole like journey of getting in shape, like down to being sober, down to dieting, down to working out.
Yep.
And then when I actually feel good about what I like, how I am, then we'll do activewear.
Yeah. Yep. I feel that, and I respect that a lot.
So people can see like I'm not just doing activewear to do activewear because it's trending. I'm doing it because I am that lifestyle. I am really doing that. I did do the sacrifice to do it, you know?
Yep. No, I agree. And I love that. I love activewear. Just started getting into the gym, so we'll see.
I have to get back, yeah.
I'm on that same thing.
That's what I want of those. Like I like to live the brand.
The lifestyle.
Yeah, and the lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I see that.
So aside from Dipped by Dee, you've talked about possibility of doing other businesses. What interests you?
I wouldn't particularly say businesses. In fact, I don't think I would open another business ever again. Yeah, no, it's so hard. I think about like other investments, like personal investments, and then they can come in so many different forms and avenues, and that's definitely something that I try to navigate on my own and with my husband. Diversifying your portfolio, but just something a lot more seamless and not as, I think it's like the customer facing that sometimes gets a little bit challenging is to have and establish those relationships, which it's almost always really good. And we have like really cool customers, like people who love us and people that have moved and like still like keep in touch and like, oh my God, just like the most incredible relationships and everything with customers. And then there are times when like it gets a little nerve wracking. So to have something that can elevate you financially without having maybe like so much customer facing interaction and pressure. Do you think that, or is it just me?
I felt like I built a living off of
right. We were just talking about this. I'm like, how do you do it? Like I get so nervous being on the register or like, and like I said, most of the time, I want to say 98% of the time, they're great interactions, but it doesn't change the fact that like, oh my gosh, it really rattles me.
It's draining sometimes too.
Maybe not draining, but just like it can still go really well and I'll still be so nervous the whole time. And like, I'm so sorry to anybody that I've ever met in public and I either was like just really embarrassing or awkward or anything, or even if I was mean or just something had like a moment, because sometimes I'll like walk away or like get in my car or just like I'm sitting in bed. I'm like, I really had that interaction today. Like, what was I thinking? Or like, what did I even say? Sometimes like I black out because I'm so nervous and so anxious. And I'm like, oh my God, that really happened today. I'm like, why were you so mean? Like, it was so uncalled for. Like, and I'm like, oh God. And I hate myself for like 3 days. I'm like, what? And like, I need to like hang on to those moments where like they're really special and they're really good. But I'm over there thinking about the time that I'm like, I don't know, just silly stuff. I'm like,
I feel like the customer thing too is like everybody that comes in, like, because you're in the shop every day in the front, so it's like when they come in, you're like engaged and you talk to everybody, and it does like by the end of the day, like you're like emotionally drained.
Yeah, I try to. I'm not so in like that right now. I think maybe it's just because I'm going through like my little dark episode right now. But for the most part, yes. Or even like when I'm not there and our employees are like, oh yeah, people are asking about you, and they're asking when you're gonna come back, and they're asking where you are, and they're asking me if I'm Dipped By Dee, and they're asking me this, and they want to know where you are. Like everybody wants to know where you are, and I'm like, why? Like that's
face.
so scary. I'm
You're
like,
the face.
okay. Yeah, it's nerve wracking.
It's like me when people come here, I give them the whole tour.
Every time?
Yeah, almost everybody.
Every time.
Every day. I give it, you like see the back. And then just we do the podcast here, we do this here,
no,
and
I
then
love
we
it.
do this here. And they came in as a customer coming to buy a shirt, and they ended up a 30-minute conversation and tour through the whole shop.
That's so funny.
And then they're asking like, oh, what do you guys did over here? Or they're like, oh, I watched this one podcast, and then it ends up a whole conversation. And then at the end, I'm like, oh, bro, I'm drained after that one.
I think we need to spend more time together because like that sounds like a lot to me. And you know what is scary for me is, and yes, I realize it's a personal like noggin type of thing, but when you don't know who wants something from you or who wants to use you or like is only being nice or only talking to you, you know what I mean? Like genuine conversations, like sometimes it's like, you catch that vibe a little bit, right? And so I almost don't want to open the door or open the opportunity for something like that to happen because sometimes people can either walk all over you, take advantage of you, or think that like just because you're friendly that like you're friends or that you're gonna give them special treatment or you're gonna do stuff for them or they start talking to you even in a different way. Like how do you navigate that part? You know, like when you read people and you're just so friendly and so nice with everybody that like.
I don't know.
Have you ever been just like?
I've had moments where like you can feel it, but like I said, I always come in with good intentions, and you can kind of read it. So if I have any hint, I'll still be nice. I still do my thing, still be engaging, but I know like that's
Stand your ground.
End of it. Yeah. But it does get hard because you want to be nice to everybody, right?
Yeah.
And give everybody the benefit of the doubt.
Right. Of course. Yeah, I tell myself that all the time. Like, just be kind. Especially because
even as far as when you're reading comments, right? Like sometimes you got to read it. Is this person being sarcastic, or did they type it in wrong and word it wrong?
Yeah.
And then
big of you to take the time to think
this
like
guy
that.
just fires, bro. Like he just fires. I was like, bro, when you answer back, do you think about what you're gonna text? You say no.
Do you answer back to every comment?
Yeah, for the engagement of the podcast. Yeah. But yeah, normally it's a fire back pretty quickly.
Yeah. Because like me, I read it, I think about it. I was like, did this person like read it wrong? And then I'll like answer back. But this guy, like when I'm thinking of that, these guys went back and forth like 5 times, and I'm like, oh, I never even answered once yet.
That's so funny.
So at that point, I'm just like, yeah, you got it, Justin.
It's kind of funny hearing you say this because I'm used to like being on the other side of it and be like, fuck, why isn't Raleigh answering?
Do you answer at all or no? Never.
When there's like it's like drama stuff, I don't. You know, I'm not a drama person.
I think that's usually my way of going about things is to not feed into it because you feed into it more, and then does it not like get you more riled up sometimes?
I'm not really riled up.
This guy lives for it.
It is what it is. I like talking to people and like hearing their reasoning and battling ideas and.
Yeah, he's one of those like he has his perspective on it and like he's willing to engage, and
I'm also willing to shift my perspective to your perspective if you have a more convincing.
But he says like, well, prove me, and if your logic is
superior,
right, then I'll definitely like give into what you say. You know?
Yeah. No, I feel that.
But yeah, he'll go in on it. Yeah.
Mad respect though. You gotta have an open.
And then sometimes he just comments without looking who the page is. Like we just had a podcast and he was laughing because he was talking shit to an ex-UFC fighter. And then I was like, bro, do you know who that is? He's like, no. I was like, open the page. And then it was like
was it in the comment section?
Yeah. And then he was an like a retired.
Like this guy could beat you up.
No,
like
he's a retired
Yeah.
heavyweight UFC fighter.
A UFC heavyweight.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
And then he's like, oh shit. Oh, my bad.
And it turned out his son is staying with the other guy that was on the podcast with us.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's
But it's all fun. It's all. It's a funny.
fingers,
It's
you
a
know?
funny
So then,
thing.
yeah, I would say it to his face too, and then be like, "Don't kill me though, right?"
Yeah, it's all fun and games. It's all fun and games till it gets serious.
You have any big time Dipped by Dee haters in the comments that are like always in there? Any trolls?
I do, and I think I've done a good job of like being low key to not trigger stuff like that. But yeah, I feel like typically what people have to say is just that we're like so expensive. That's the heat, that's the drama we get. But luckily we have all the people who are like, yeah, they're worth it though.
That's
Like,
where the
they're so
quality
good.
comes in, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know what else other people would have to like. I think like it takes a special kind of person to let yourself get super worked up or be like heavily invested into a comment section for like a dessert page, a dessert company. Like, are you really like standing 10 toes and speaking with your chest on like somebody else's dessert business, right? Like, what are you getting so mad about?
Yeah.
Like, we make desserts, we make people happy. I don't know. That's just
I
me.
just always look at it
That's just me.
as
So silly.
those same people will walk into a Louis Vuitton store, Gucci store, Prada,
Right.
luxury brand, and you
Right.
won't ask for a discount.
Right.
So to me, it's like if you're willing to support somebody like a big brand like that, they will never ever buy anything from you, never know your name.
right.
Why not support like a small business that is actually helping somebody?
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
And I
but-
was one of those that I only bought designer at one time. And then one day I was like in there grabbing shit and I was like, bro, like they will never ever know who I
know your
am.
name. Yeah.
So why would I spend this money here when I could go to my friend's shop and buy thousands of dollars worth of stuff from him
Yep.
instead of somebody that will never ever recognize me or anything
Yeah.
or give back to me at
I was
all.
gonna say, or even buy anything from your store.
Yeah.
That's always a thing, though. It's always a thing. It's hard to get sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes.
I get it. I understand because I was that person at one time that would only buy designer.
Yeah.
And but just one day I just is like, I just kind of like was
Snapped
looking at
out of it.
everything and I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah. I feel that.
What's your goal or vision for Dipped by Dee in 5 years, 10 years?
I would definitely say I want to open up more stores. Where, not entirely sure where, when. I would say at least a couple more within 5 years. At least a couple more. 10 years. Oh, it would be really cool to be like a little bit more situated in a place like either Japan or Colorado with a storefront that just kind of pretty more self-sufficient, and then just have a family.
Why do I picture
have a family.
Colorado with all like the snow coming down,
Snowboarding,
the glass windows?
Oh
and
yeah, the caramel
desserts
apples,
in the
the
window.
vibe,
Is that what you see?
I
I saw
saw that-
South Park in my head for some reason.
What?
I don't know why.
I just saw
like
like,
Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory.
yeah, I just saw like
something that.
windows with snow and apples in the.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll
I just
see.
pictured that.
I'm also a very like wing it type of person. Like we talked about opening in Vegas at least 5 years ago. It took us a while to actually get here, but 2 years ago when the ball started really rolling with things, I was like, Vegas? Like really? I never thought that I'd be living in Vegas or even like having a business here, because first time I came to Vegas was years ago. Before I moved here, I hadn't been to Vegas since I was 21. So it's just so super out of reach. So now I'm like, yeah, I can plan for my future and I can think of these things, but like, who knows? Like, who knows where the heck this
I was
journey will
excited
take me?
when I heard you was coming here though.
Yeah, it's been fun.
I was really excited because I was, by the time you opened there, I think I was in Vegas more than I was at home.
Yep.
But then I heard the craze and I seen the craze and I was like, oh, fuck it, I want to try that shit. You know what I mean? And then they said you was moving here and I was like, I'm gonna have to be like one of the first. That's why I hit her up before she even opened. I was like, hey, if you need help with anything, I'm here to help or whatever. And then she's like, yeah, come by. It wasn't open yet. I was like, doesn't mean I get to get some early. I went over there. She got me so. I was like, oh, fuck. And I got
Oh my
me
God,
so.
it's been so fun. It's been so fun. I love Vegas. A little hot right now, but I love it. I love the people.
As she requests a hoodie.
Yeah.
I know, it's just my comfort. It's like my safe space, you know? Like I like being like cozy.
No, this has been a fun
cozy.
episode. You've done great.
Yeah, yay. Thank you guys
She
for
requests a
having
hoodie.
me.
I request glasses.
Yeah, no, you're just out here just like big chilling. Look at you.
I'm a big boy.
Bro, this guy goes live. He don't give a fuck.
You're just so casual. You're like about to go for a run.
Nobody
you know?
knows me. It doesn't matter if I mess up, honestly.
I don't know, bro. This guy, I feel like he always says like, "Oh, I'm just a podcaster," but I was like, bro, the podcast is getting to the point where a lot of people is seeing it now.
Have you had that moment where you're like somebody out recognize you in
You
public?
might be famous.
Yeah, it's happened a few times.
How does it feel?
And whatnot. Like I've gotten stopped a couple of times for like the stuff we do. I've had Bert Kreischer on a couple of podcasts and whatnot, like some big comedians. So we've got stopped for that. It started in my spare bedroom at home in a studio I built like 3 years ago. So
wow.
I always knew it could be something, but I also don't care about being like a star or like the face of something. I just want to be a part of something good.
He's in one of those spaces where he doesn't realize he's getting famous right now, and he is the face of the brand.
But I love that. Like it's one thing to like, you know, people just blow up overnight these days, and like that fame like really gets to them. But like to be on this journey and like to stay humble throughout it, like it's really, really something that you don't see every day, honestly. Like,
and it's funny too because I like. How do we even?
Okay, can I pause for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know what the fuck I was going to say.
Well, I was asking her about that too because I realized, bro, there is so much people copying the way we do the podcast now and our clips.
Bro, we did a
over.
podcast with this one like kind of famous YouTuber, and then the next week, the format of his podcast was exactly like ours. And then he messaged me, he's like, "Do you see this?" And I was like, "Take it as a compliment." He's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, because I'm nobody. Don't take from me. Take from the rich dudes.
You know, that's always a funny thing because everybody navigates it in a different way. But I also feel like you said, take it as a compliment because when somebody they
see some value in it.
Yes. And it took me a long time to shift my perspective in that way. But 100%, you're doing something right. You're doing a lot of things right. That people want to replicate it. They want to do it. And so that's really how you have to see those things, because you can let it attack you. You let it like make you feel, oh my God, I'm speaking to myself right now. But yeah, you can let it hold you back, or you can just, man, I'm doing something good. Or maybe let's switch it up and stay ahead of the game. What can you do? So there's so many different ways you can look at it, but that's always the best way to.
I feel like you know what like it was a big part of it is when we had farmers, we came in swinging so hard and like with so much hype that nothing bothered us. Like there was nothing any other brand that there was just nothing they could do to bother us to make us go away from our direction that we was doing.
I love that having that like.
And then they just carried into like now like I don't give a fuck with anybody.
Yeah.
I don't respond to comments. I don't react to much.
Yeah. I appreciate this because this is really sinking within my head that I need to just.
And it's always a compliment.
YOLO.
And then sometimes you're like, bro, like the guys are doing the same thing at me, half the price. Like, are you crazy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you see people doing what you're doing, but then they're slashing the price, you're like, oh, bro, like there went all your profit margins. But
right.
Kudos to you if you want to work that hard.
Yeah.
For that.
For less, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing that I always think about too, especially because from somebody who's saying that you're charging too much, you're overpriced, or whatever it may be, like they don't know all the things that go into it or all the other things that you're trying to do. Like when people say things like that, like it stings a little bit sometimes, but at the same time, like you don't know all the other things that I'm trying to do too. Like one, scale the business, take care of my team more than anything. Like we have 5 managers on salary, and not just our management team, but all of our employees, especially what you guys have seen in Hawaii, like all the labor increases. Like we tried our best to take care of our team. Like you want us to have like super affordable prices, but you also want us to like take care of our team and have the best of the best and have a location everywhere and do all these things where it's like, be for real, guys. Like be for real. Like I'm also trying to like make a living here.
That's like them raising the price of apples $5 a bag, but expecting you to keep the price the same, right?
Right. And all the things that have changed over the years. Like I think one good thing about us is that the times that since we started in 2019 as an official business, and then we had COVID and all of the things that have happened with inflation over the years, like the times that we've increased prices have been so minimal. For the most part, we've stayed the same and not increased prices. Like,
wow.
But so it's been an adjustment. I'm like, okay, well, like everywhere else is raising prices though. Like we've
skyrocketing.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Like, what do you expect from us? Like, we're just trying to navigate through all the increases that we're facing because there's increases in every direction. Labor, rent, bills, ingredients, so many things. And like, we're staying where we're at. We're like standing 10 toes on these price increases. And my business partners are like, no, like, we really need to have a conversation. I'm like, what? Like, wait, like, we need to stay where we're at. Like, I don't know. We'll see. It's always
that's like
back and forth.
in your industry too, right? Food prices is
yeah,
up and
man.
down, right?
Yeah, it's always a never ending game. And luckily we have such a solid team, and Karina on the finances part, who keeps us very well put together, like is always looking for the most affordable ways to do things, like as far as like purchasing in bulk, or even like all of our branded packaging, which is the biggest thing that sets us apart. And obviously we just had like the big tariff wars that were happening, and that took a huge toll on us as well, and we're like trying to figure out how to recover, but like there's always something that we're trying to navigate through.
But how do you take on leading in a room like that? You're in your mid-20s leading in a room of other mightily successful people.
No, it's not. I don't think about it like that. In fact, I've always been nurtured and guided. I haven't always taken the leadership role. I feel like I've stepped into these shoes a little bit more so recently, but I feel like I've even had like a lot of moments that have crushed my confidence, but you grow from them, even when you have setbacks or you have things that don't work out, or the mistakes that I make. Like, I'm one that usually will sulk in my mistakes, but I try to always like come out of it stronger and learn from them and figure out how to navigate it if it were to happen again, things like that. But I just feel like I've been very, very lucky in having so much guidance and so much support from my entire team, but definitely more specifically my management team, who's so much more close within me, and we meet more regularly, and we're like bouncing off ideas. We all wear different hats, and we come together in such a strong way, which is great. Like, we all have different things that we focus on or that we bring to the table, and keeps it
You're
fun.
a big we person.
Am I?
A big us.
Me too, dude. I love
Wii
sports,
heck
dude.
yeah.
Tennis.
I don't like
Yeah.
the eye thing is.
Heck yeah. Oh my God, I could not do this alone. Are you kidding? There's just no way. There's no way I could do this. Like I said, I would have gave up a long time ago if I didn't have my people by my side. And there are times where I'm like, man, like, I could just walk away from this any day. Like, if I really, truly wanted to and all else fails, like, I could figure something else out. I could go to Spain. I go live with my husband, be a stay-at-home mom, wife, military spouse, figure something else out. But all those times that I had those moments, I'm like, I'm not going to leave my team. My team did not leave me in all of those toughest times when I really needed them. And like, yeah, I could walk away from this, but why? Like, there's so many people who have invested so much into me, into the brand, into the business, and for themselves too, that like, I owe it to them. And I owe it to our customers too. Like, if I were to pull myself from the brand, it'd be different. So I know I still have to be.
That'd be kind of hard. It's named Dipped By Dee.
Yeah, I know. And it's not always Dipped By Dee anymore, but if in a good way. I'm like, wow, like,
This would be dipped.
Right. No. And I don't know. We'll see. But for the most part, it's been really nice to have such an incredible team by your side who sometimes believes in you more than you believe in yourself. And it goes both ways, because there are definitely a lot of times where I have felt like I believe in my team more than they believe in themselves. And you'll be surprised at the things they can accomplish when you believe in them more than they believe in themselves. I know it sounds cliche, but very true. It's very satisfying
It's
to
gotta manifest everything.
see someone come in and be like, wow, did that. Yeah, you did, girl. Yeah, you did. Like, that's exciting. Love it.
I feel like we're going through that too right now. With like when we moved into this spot, it was just us here, and I was like a lone ranger in here. Then slowly we're bringing all our friends to open up. Like my goal was to create like our own Fairfax.
Yeah.
Where you come over here and you can go to the coffee shop, the barber shop, the tattoo shop. So we're slowly.
Yep.
But it was like when I was here, like I was here like a year over a year and a half by myself. I would walk outside, the parking lot be empty. There's no neighbors, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Before
did
the
I
parking
do?
lot got resurfaced and stuff.
What the
So
fuck did
lonely.
I just
Tumbleweeds rolling across the parking
Did I
lot.
just fucking move into a ghost town, bro? And I just stand outside. I'm like, what the fuck? Did I fuck up?
So
Or-
did you have those? Yeah, those.
Oh, I
like,
had
little
those
doubtful
moments. I was like sitting in my car, like, fuck. Like, should I have went to the mall? Should I have did this? And then I was like, fuck it, bro. Like, I'm just gonna make the best of it. I'm gonna keep pressing, keep doing what we do, keep doing events. And then my friend next door, EJ, they opened Schimo's Coffee. They saw the vision, and then they're like, yeah, we'll come in there and we'll do the coffee shop next door. And then they moved in, and then our other friend Cisco, Justin would always bring him on for the podcast, and then we're like talking about like doing this, all of us in a row. And he's like, bro, I think we can do the barbershop and studio. So they're renovating right now. They should be opening
He
August.
says August 1st.
Oh shoot!
Yeah.
How far along are they?
They're pretty far in. I think they're gonna do
August
something.
1st is an aggressive timeline.
Yeah.
You always will have to give yourself
Yeah.
a good goal, though.
Like
you know
we
what I
walked
mean?
in there and they were like, good goal. That's a good
August
goal.
1st, huh?
That's a good goal to have, you know. And then there's another.
We all do that.
Y'all gonna be working like these people up in here.
Then we have our other guy. One of our other guys, he opened a golf simulator spot. So when you hit it into like the projector screen.
Yeah.
So
like
it's
VR.
slowly coming along from being here by myself like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, and that, I mean, it just goes back to what we're talking about. It's just like leading the team and just putting your best foot forward and just showing people how it's done. And people are, it's just contagious.
But yeah,
contagious.
once
People want to be a part of it.
I think once everybody's in, then everybody's gonna really see the vision,
Everybody else,
and then
right?
they're gonna want to come through.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like that though.
But it's scary, like being the first one to
Yeah.
like take the initiative to come in.
Taking a huge risk. Yeah. I had those like little feelings when we first got here, and it's a roller coaster. But I mean, I think that's
Especially because
because
when I moved here too, I had like family members saying like, I don't know about that mall, because like, you know, like I was like, I'm gonna do it here, and they're like, I don't know about that spot. That spot's not a good spot. And I was like, no, it is a good spot, you know. So I had to just convince myself a few times that it'll work out.
Yeah. And so how does it feel now? Well, all those
I
people,
feel way
all
better.
those people that have made those comments, which it's also tough to give that feedback sometimes, is to say like, you know, it's not my place to say, but I don't know if I see it. So I'm sure they're probably also feeling like, damn, like I'm glad that I was wrong, you know, or I hope they feel that way.
Now they see
Feels
the
good.
vision.
Feels good.
But like I'm definitely becoming.
They all want to come party here.
Yeah, I'm definitely like a coffee connoisseur now. That we're like a coffee shop. Like I never drank coffee in my life,
Really?
but now I feel like I'm learning about coffee because they're next door now.
I love that.
So I'm over there every day. Like, you know, when I used to go to Starbucks, I used to just be like, give me the standard.
Whatever, basic.
Now I'm like,
Frappuccino.
could I get an iced latte, 3 pumps honey, 2 scoops of cinnamon, caramel walls, please? And then they're like, okay.
Let me
and-
just get the rally
yeah,
special.
yeah. And then I caught myself like the other week, like, did I just fucking order a fancy ass coffee?
You gotta have your own drink over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, you were talking about sometimes it's a little bit hard for you to get over your mistakes and whatnot. What's the biggest mistake you've made in your business?
Oh man, I'm full of mistakes. I'm full of flaws. The biggest mistake, I feel like that's another question like earlier about things that don't work out, where there's just been so many things. It's like, how do you pinpoint one thing? The biggest mistake, to what scale? I think I'll keep it simple for lack of trying to pinpoint something else, but not everything works out, and we talk about things that fail, right? Maybe it goes hand in hand. Products that you pay a lot of money for, or you invest so much into it and it flops. So maybe this is a good one. We made and ordered, designed these large bags, and they were frosted, kind of like the ones that I brought earlier, but they're like so big and flimsy and awkward. And I can't tell you how much we ended up spending on these bags, but we maybe got like 10,000 was probably the minimum, and we couldn't get rid of them. They're so awkward, and we got a sample, so I don't know how we move forward, or I can't remember the thought process way back in the day. It was a good process. Obviously, we made it
Sometimes
here.
the sample you get is not the product you get too, right?
I don't know what went wrong, but like
Alibaba.
we bought too many, and we ended up paying way more for them than we actually paid for them, because we had
to buy 10,000 of them, and we had to store them, and we're paying for storage, and the storage, just gets. This is something that is like living. I want to say rent free, but not even rent free, because I think about this every day. I'm like, I gotta get those large bags. And everybody gets a large bag now. Like, you get so much product. It's such a big bag. Like, you get 5-6 items. Like, okay, give them a large bag. Let's get rid of these bags. And like that's something that's so minimal and so small. Like, I realized I could have taken that probably a little bit deeper, but just to keep it simple. Like, that's something that I think about all the time, and I'm like, those freaking large bags. Like, on the day that we finally get rid of them. Oh,
you still have them?
I'll feel good. Oh yeah, we still have them. We have at least like 20 cases in Hawaii, and we're like bringing them here. Anytime we like fly back and forth, like, hey, if you're coming from Hawaii, bring some of them large bags with you, right?
So
because otherwise you have to pay for storage and shipping.
Maybe the large bag is something we can use when you go to the strip to do like the.
They're like not even like they're not good. They're not.
It's not even cute.
Like, it's not like that one we brought, like that cute little frosted, like beautiful small bag. It's like such an awkward, large, flimsy bag. Like, you need to put a lot of stuff in it, but it's not even like a reusable bag that you would reuse again. Like, it's just not. It just didn't work out. It's a flop. Probably our biggest flop.
We've done that.
Biggest flop we've ever had.
Farmers, we did a shirt, and we had the girl we put on the shirt. She had her foot out like that. Had a big Nike logo on the bottom of her shoe, and then we used that picture on the fucking shirt, and we printed like 1,000 of them, and it had a big fucking Nike swoop on it. And we were like, fuck, we can't put that out. Like, it's a big, it looked like a Nike, like,
yeah,
like a Nike
it was the whole bottle.
yeah.
No, he's like, fuck.
But you printed them already.
We printed
so
it.
what'd you do? You give them away.
Yeah.
You give them away.
Yeah.
And
You don't have
that's
any
what
more
we're
of those
doing.
shirts?
Oh, it became like a collector.
That's what I was saying. That's so sick.
Yeah, that's funny. That's so funny. I mean, that's
Better
what
save
we're doing.
some of those bags.
We're trying to get rid of
I
them.
did- gonna collect their bags soon.
We also did like a State Farm one. No, State Farm was Farmers Insurance. Like was it
Yes,
Farmers
like a
Insurance?
spin-off. State Farm.
Yeah, it was spin-off.
You use the same like type of logo,
No,
but
we
you put
didn't
yours.
even. We fucking we forgot to. It's in
You said-
Farmers Insurance. And we printed it, and we was like, shit! Like, we fucking printed the actual logo, bro.
Who did the editing? The proofreading?
How did we not catch this stuff? You know what I mean? Like same thing.
How many shirts do you printed at that
Oh,
one?
bro, we used to print a lot. We used to print a lot.
Oh yeah, we have moments like that all the time.
No,
It's
but
like,
how did it slip through?
right.
Would
How
you
many
guys go-
shirts did you have to print for somebody to notice? Like, who's the one who noticed?
No, we noticed it when all the boxes got delivered. You pulled it out, and you were like,
Yeah, that's
Hey,
crazy. That's
"This
crazy.
isn't the right one," you know. And it was like the actual Farmers logo.
Holy shit.
That's insane.
And what'd you guys go do? Just go donate it to farmers?
No, we just like use it as giveaways, bro. Like, we had no
Yeah,
choice.
yeah.
What?
That's what we do.
No, but like, you know, like how you said, like, how did it slip through the cracks?
No, like this is bad. Like this is like if you went and printed up like Nestle chocolate chip cookie bags and then started selling your products in those.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Did
That's
it
funny.
just slips through here and there? You know what I mean?
I guess ours has never been that extreme, but yeah, we have moments where we're like, you dipped to like 12 or 24 of those apples and you forgot a step, so you're missing a whole step within the apple. And sometimes you miss a step, like you can tell it looks weird, right? Like you can't go backwards because you already added that other layer or something like that. And we're like, how did it take this long for
20
somebody to notice that? I don't know,
doing it
it's
wrong.
missing the seeds or it's missing this. Like, you can't undo it. You just can't. Like, you're screwed. And you discount them, you give them away, something.
Another one was you know how we did a cryptic camel. I didn't
A
know
what?
cryptic camel is the I thought
Oh, like
when
camouflage.
you say camouflage, I thought camouflage was just like
One
a
style.
word,
Mm.
not like the name of the actual camouflage. So when I put it on the website, I put cryptic camel, not knowing the military owned the name.
Oh, the name of the camouflage. Got it.
Cryptic camel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
I didn't know that.
fucking
What, you got
cease
flagged?
and desist, like the next day.
What?
Quick.
Defense
Yeah.
department.
And we had shirts, surf shorts, hats, everything.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So you had to take it off the shelves.
Yeah, and I was like, how the fuck? Like, I guess, I don't know. We didn't
So
know.
it seems like you've had a lot of these
Oh, yeah,
moments.
yeah.
Were you thinking of like a camel?
That's the first thing I heard.
I was like, what do you mean?
And
Like,
then
what
I
kind
heard
of camel?
camouflage.
Yeah,
So I'm like, okay, we're
camouflage.
talking about camouflage, but I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't know
with
that was the
cryptic
actual
camo.
name of the camouflage, and that was like.
Yeah, I don't know
Was it
that.
like a digital or
That's what I'm envisioning
Yeah,
too.
it's like cryptic, like that. Oh,
Looks like
it's hard to
pixelated.
Yeah.
like the one the army was using like the early 2000s?
Yeah,
Okay. BDUs?
I don't know.
Well,
what
not
that is.
BDUs. What were they? ACUs or I can't remember.
I have no idea what that is, but yeah, we had our fair share.
Is that your only season assist that you've had?
Yeah,
Okay.
because the other ones we kind of caught on our own,
Oh, okay.
but we didn't know that cryptic camel was the name of the actual
Yeah, yeah.
pattern.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. That's so interesting.
But we called it that on the website too.
Damn.
So
Yeah, see, like, how does something like that come into play? How do they find you? And I'm like,
I have
how has
no
Disney
idea.
not came to us yet?
Maybe
Like,
they
maybe
let-
they see and they're keeping an eye on us, and
Maybe-
keeping tabs, and like
they're like,
they're waiting.
let this girl run with it because she's gonna come up with something good, and then we're gonna take it.
Right? Maybe. I don't know. And possibilities are endless. Who really knows?
Well, we
But
did the same
we'll
thing
see.
with Foot Locker, right?
What?
The
No,
fa-
I know.
the farmer's hat ended up in all the Foot Lockers.
What?
It was our farmer's logo in Foot Locker.
Wait, what do you mean?
How?
It was
Yeah.
our logo on a New Era hat in all the Foot Lockers.
So they.
How does
So
that-
it's like I guess they was watching us, and then they saw it was like a trending thing, and they made their own, and it became
Wait, because New Era had
Yeah.
the print or the logo or whatever.
yeah.
And
Wow.
just if they had a
It's
New
in their
Era
swatch.
account, they
it's in their
could.
swatch.
Oh, so as long as you had a New Era account, they could print your hats.
Yeah.
Legally.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't. Okay, now I'm
in the
following.
fine print it says that.
That's so crazy.
So to this day, if they wanted to, and say Farmers was that big, they could still be selling
Yeah.
the Farmers hats. The Farmers hats that were reselling for over $1,000 at one
Yeah.
point.
Was that a thing?
Yeah,
Wow.
1,800. I sold all the mines when I saw the
You
price. I
were
was
like, okay,
I was
bet.
like, what? Oh, I gotta put all mines
I
on
got so many.
Facebook Marketplace. Here we go.
Wait, at what point? When did that happen? What year did that happen?
It was a few years in. I can't pinpoint the exact year, but the hats is what kind of blew it up, you know. And then
Was that after the high resale prices?
that's what made the high resale prices. Was the hats?
Really?
Yeah.
So it was actually a benefit
Yeah,
them being in lids and
yeah. Cause then it became like, oh, these motherfuckers. Like my friend from New York called me. He's like, bro, you guys did it. You guys are rich. And I was like, yeah, we're surviving. He's like, no, you guys are rich as fuck. And I was like, well, what are you talking about? He's like, bro, you're in all the Foot Lockers, dog. And I was like, no, we're not. And then fucking everybody started sending us pictures. Boom, 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 boom.
What a
boom.
feeling.
Yeah, that was one of the moments. Like I was like, these motherfuckers, what. And then when I sat back, I was like, bro, that is really a compliment.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
There's two completely different perspectives. Two different, very different
They must
emotions.
have seen something, right? You know, if
Yeah.
they're doing it, they must have seen something. Same thing with like your product. If you're doing it and then somebody's taking it later, that take it as a compliment, you're doing something right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Disney might just be watching you and like taking things and like, oh, she does this, she does this. This is how she does this.
They did recreate our ice cream Mickey apple one time, I think, but we see it and like it's hard to tell if like did they get that from us or who really knows? We don't know. There's no real way to know for sure that like they did get that from us. But I'm like, it's our ice cream Mickey, and that's an original design that our other manager created like 4 or 5 years ago, and now it's like a signature part. It's Disney. But it's a signature design that we created and that we sell in our store every day. It's our like classic one that we have all the time. And then we change it seasonally. But when Disney saw it and I seen it on the Disney page and they had their own, I'm like, wow, like, are they watching us? I don't know.
They have to be.
Oh, probably.
would you ever think of approaching Disney?
I think I'd have to be prepared. I've talked about it a lot of
Oh,
times.
for-
It's not my like expertise, but it is definitely something that I've brought up to my business partners plenty of times. And I'm like, hey, like, are we legally prepared for something like that? Like, and yeah, luckily we do have a legal team, but I don't think that we're
Well, in terms of even
in
like,
that pred.
approaching the
Business.
relationship.
right. That like how do you who and how do you approach?
You never
Yo,
know.
I'm-
right?
You never know
Yeah.
what kind of room you're gonna end up
Trust
in.
me, I definitely have thought about like stomping on them eggshells and putting a video out. And yeah, I've had a video envisioned in my head that could potentially go viral and get them to reach out. Oh yeah, I've thought of that, and I think I even edited a video one day, and I was like, oh, be careful, maybe let's not do it yet. But what I did back then was I took all of the inspo apples from Disney, and then the ones that we did, and I was putting them like one after the other, like the inspo, what we did, the inspo, what we did, and not from us. The feedback that we get is that ours are cleaner, they're better, they're nicer, they're just more quality and just better in different ways. And so I'm like, well, this is in a way, I don't know, this almost comes off like attacking or just like we're better, like not in the right approach, at least in the way that I would want to come across, but it would turn heads and it would be like, oh shit, because people love to talk about that. People be like, Disney, you better come for these girls, like they're trying to copy you, or like, when we went viral the second time out here, all the comments are like, you got a cease and desist coming, like algorithms send me back when Disney comes for them, like all kinds of different means. Like people want Disney to shut us down. I'm like, damn, like is it really like that? Like it's not that serious, guys. Like we're just doing cute stuff because we love it. Like, but it is gonna be serious one day, and hopefully serious in the best way possible. So
you should be the first to approach.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's best for you to be the first one to get to them because you get to control the situation and
control the room a little.
Maybe I should. I'm like, where do you start that?
I'm pretty sure
almost exactly what you're thinking though. Like the video that you edited, but instead of showing
and just
them
say
up,
it and just say it like
hey,
Disney,
this
like,
is the matter of fact. We are better. We would just like to be better with you guys.
I have always thought about that as well, and basically like feed into the comments, like like you guys are right, and I think I do have a little bit of, I don't know if it's leverage or just confidence in the way that we've worked with Aulani before. We've already worked with Disney, in a sense, like on a smaller scale, but we've already opened that door. So if your, Hawaii resort is working with us and they love our product and they're giving out to your employees, like who's not to say that like other people would love it?
I'm very genuinely surprised that you haven't had this meeting, or
because where it'd be only Disney World, Disneyland, right?
No, there's
Tokyo
at every Disney, pretty much.
That would be huge.
No, but in the US, how much? There's only 2, right?
There's only
Disneyland, Disney World.
There's only 2, but multiple parks at both.
Yeah.
But yes, and I mean, I obviously we're already recreating their apples, but we have a lot of designs that are Disney designs that we've created and put them into play. But I would also still love to incorporate like the Dipped By Dee aspect into it. Like, we came together as a relationship from the Disney inspired treats that we make, like the apples specifically, but we also have like these amazing decadent chocolate covered strawberries that people can also buy.
I think that your story is also so sellable. You know what I mean? Every single part of it. So I just think that relationship would be so easy to put together.
I hope so. Maybe I should just.
I've seen collabs with them before to start a relationship.
Like,
wasn't it?
Why wouldn't you have a location at all the Disney parks around the world?
Who was it? Lassin, right? He did the Mickey Mouse painting with the world. I think it was Lassin.
I know what you're talking about. But
it's like looks like violin paintings, but he does. His name is Lassin, but I think he did like a partnership.
A huge artist, I think I've seen some of his work where it's like a different version of Mickey. But Mickey, are we on the same page?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Would have that. Even OG Slick too does the Mickey Mouse LA hands.
I gotta put my big girl panties on and just fucking go for it. I just go for all these crazy things. Like, I don't know what's happened to me, why I've become more fearful, but there's been so many times in my life where I'm just, man, I jumped into marriage. Like, went full swing.
Is it because you have more to lose, more other people that depend on you now?
No, it's because unfortunately, like, I think I care too much what people think. Or I get too caught up in the comments and like, it's like a very mental, like, battlefield in my head to just ignore the comments. Like, no, like it's ringing in my head, and sometimes I like lose sleep over it. And like I said, like majority of the time things are great and I have great encounters, great experiences, great feedback and things like that. But why do and maybe I just need a therapist or a tighter relationship with God. But
I've been to a therapist before.
It's tough. You can't shake the thoughts from your head when at the end of the day, like, I know I'm doing good. I know I'm on the right track. I know I'm making an impact. There are all those things that I should know. I know. you know, but I still can't help. I can't help it. I don't know. Let these thoughts and emotions consume me where I still should know I'm in control, but I can't move past that. Like, what are people going to say? Well, I don't want to trigger anything. Like, I want to hide my face from social media. I don't want people to know who I am. Like, it's a scary thing to navigate. And I'm like, oh, I just want to be in the dark. Like, I want to still be successful. Before I used to want to be rich and famous, successful and famous. And now I've had like my friends who are famous, or I've had like little like snippets of moments like that. And I'm like, yeah, I think I'd rather just be like in the dark and still be successful and still build a brand somehow. But I know that it would be so much more catapulted, right? Like you said,
Like Lex says,
if I really took a huge grasp of what's in front of me and went full force. But I do have to say that this entire conversation and podcast is making me feel like, why not?
Have you ever met Lex Breezy?
No, that's the thing.
Oh.
That's the thing is, I mean, we know of each other and we've
I try to
had.
bring her when she. I think she comes here in a few weeks.
Yeah, you guys gotta link up.
I would love
That'd be
to.
like,
I would love to. Like we've had such an interesting journey together because we, just support each other on social media, and like I've just seen her growth, especially recently.
Oh, her
and
growth
I'm like,
is crazy.
yeah, like I've never met her, but we
let a little
support
bit
each
of her confidence just rub off real quick.
Yeah, I think
take it
that-
to the
that
next
is-
level.
I
You
do
is a
know
little
that.
savage. Yeah.
Yeah.
She is a beast.
I love an all unapologetic women that is just fierceful, and yeah, it can be intimidating or it can be super like
Yeah,
inspiring.
she just steps on the gas. She
Yeah.
goes.
She will definitely light a fire under your ass.
I would love to, honestly. It would be such an honor for sure, because in fact, even just picking your brain a little today, I'm like, man, I need to really like navigate through these things, and so got to figure this out. I can be the best version.
You
of
got
me.
that, bro. You're going viral on TikTok, and you have a bunch of IG videos that are viral. So
TikTok is so
You're already
scary,
there.
but yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. I'm gonna.
you're right
start
there.
posting all
All
my
it
drafts.
is like the little one more step right in,
I
and
know.
you're good.
I think what I at least want to start with is like doing the fun stuff of like going out to share Dipped By Dee with like local businesses. That's really like my biggest thing. It doesn't have to be local businesses. Like we've done like all kinds of different other things like hospitals or police departments, fire departments, just stuff to have people try our stuff. But it's moments like that like I'm never like, most of the time I go by myself. Sometimes it's like extra product. We close the store and like I just take it home with me, and I'm like, okay, like let me pull up to this fire department and just drop stuff off. And like as much as I want to like film that moment and that interaction and that like, oh my gosh, they all go crazy and they love it and they're so happy, it gets so awkward. Like you're not gonna walk into a place holding your phone and just like videoing the experience, especially if you don't have someone else in there. And then it always gives me that thought process at the back of my head, like you shouldn't do things just to get recognition for it. Like you do things because for me, it's like you try the product and like if they love it, they love it. Maybe they'll come check out the business, and like that's the win for me. But like you shouldn't do things to get recognition and to make it seem like this is why, like when people go feed the homeless and like you're taking videos of like you feeding the homeless, like what are you really doing? Is this for you? Is this for them? Right? So it's things like that are uncomfortable for me. That
But then you
I get in my own
But then
head.
you see those guys going hella viral doing it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think
Right.
you're a pure heart, so
Right.
you think of that side of it.
Right. It's uncomfortable. And like and I even think about like the privacy and for the other person to be comfortable, because like you said, like you know, we walk into an establishment, whether it's a police department or a cafe, and you want to go and share the product, but you also want to like capture the experience and the moment, the interaction, and they might be like, why the heck are you filming? And like you never know when somebody else is gonna freeze or have a different experience and how they behave with you. You're holding a camera in their face.
I'm always like, I don't understand how the streamers do it.
Right.
You just walk up to random.
Right.
I don't understand
It's all
how
gonna
they
be premeditated.
No, it's not.
Not all the time,
They're just like
the
that all day
crazy
long.
the crazy ones to me is like the ones they just go up to random people and prank them.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Right.
like, bro,
like sometimes I'm like, is
what
this
the
stage? Is
fuck?
it not? I love when I don't know if it is. When you dead set and you know something's staged, you're like, okay, it's not that exciting. But sometimes when it's like, is this staged? Or is this for real? Like, is this for real? Like, I love when I don't actually know, because
Like the
when you
Home
have those
Depot
genuine
ones.
reactions.
the one they're in Home Depot, I'm like, fuck.
Like what?
bro.
So
Like,
awkward.
They're like, what is this? Someone like the Like they're like in the aisles and like they're fucking flying confetti back at them and all kinds of weird shit, you know.
Oh, they throw something at them or something,
Yeah.
or put a bucket on their head or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
crap,
crazy.
It's crazy. It's like that's like fuck. I don't know. Like that's when bad shit happens.
It's
to
crazy.
me.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's sometimes it's stuff like that that I think would be easier when it's like fun games and like just being a goofball or you're being embarrassing and like that. I feel like I might be more inclined to do like silly stuff like that.
Your
and
idea
pranks.
stuff with the strawberries and
Then-
whatnot, those are great ideas. Go with those.
Yeah, I think that's more.
Before we get out of here, anything to plug? Any big events coming up at the stores, at the locations?
Not quite. Summer is actually more of a slow season for us, so we're just kind of riding the slow summer season. I think our next big holiday is going to be October, which we didn't get to do it full force last year because that was our opening month in Vegas. But I think that this coming October, we're gonna take things up a notch and really show Vegas what we're about. I mean, we always have something different rolling up or some tricks up our sleeves. So we'll see whether it's another location or maybe you'll start seeing me in the streets a little bit more and you can get some Dipped By Dee. So we'll see what happens.
And where's the location in Hawaii and here in Vegas?
In Hawaii, we are pretty central. So we are in Aiea Town Square. We're down the street from Aiea Bowl. And here in Vegas, we're in like the Enterprise area. Is that right? We are on Jones and Warm Springs. So if you've ever heard of the Finn Smith Coffee Shop, they're amazing. We love Finn Smith. And we're in that same shopping center. So I know that parking can get a little bit congested, but we do have 2 designated stalls right in front of our store. So you can always also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Dipped By Dee.
Awesome. Anything to plug, Raleigh, before we get out of here?
Same old, same old. Weekly releases Saturday. We might run a 4th of July. Like, I don't know, some kind of 4th of July release
Special,
sale
yeah.
or special, something. So just watch out for that.
Oh,
It
yeah.
would be done by then, but be next week, yeah.
Yeah, Tuesday this will drop.
Yeah, just weekly releases.
Okay.
Shout out to 10-Day Tony again for hooking me up, Dan Lebatard's show. We're actually going to be doing another MMA hangout, so looking forward to that. Subscribe, Still Friends Show, YouTube, Instagram, and Tacos Policy down in Henderson. See you guys next time.
This guy's
All
getting
right.
this guy's getting famous.
This guy right here. Thank you so much, D.
Thank you.
See you
Thanks
guys
for
next
having
time.
me.
That's a really good one.
Oh, yeah, that was fire.
Woohoo!
Yeah,